What's going on, everyone? It's Blizzard. I'm going to be talking about week 7 of Phalanx, Phalanx division of ODL, the Vest division. And I'm here joined by,
Wow, it's me.
um, and uh, and we already have Spam Dolphin chat, so we know it's gonna be a legendary stream. But let's um, take a look at the first match. We had a lot of really interesting matches this week, not gonna lie. Um, I played Soup in a very interesting set, very fun set. Really think that this week is gonna be a pretty entertaining one for you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. I liked my team coming into this a lot. What helped me prepare, and I felt pretty good going into this. Though I did know that Soup's team was really scary. For two main reasons. One of which is Halucha, and the other is Hydrapple. These two Pokemon very very scary, right? Can do a lot of damage, and Halucha can be very fast. Hydrapple, especially with room service, can be very, very slow. In fact, even slower than Kaparaja with room service, which is kind of crazy because Kaparaja is super slow. But yeah. And then Farigiraf was also a way to stop me from setting up Trick Room, and it also stopped me from like clicking Protect with Imprison. And it could just kind of sit on the field and be a problem for me. So those were some of the big threats I had to think about, as well as Fake Out on Thwacky and Redirection from Electabuzz. So, a lot of major threats on Soup's team, and he's a great player. So, a lot of potential problems for my team coming into this matchup. Though I feel like I did bring some pretty fun stuff. So hopefully, uh, I mean it's already happened, but hopefully I can take the win. So he immediately leads Halucha Electabuzz, which is interesting. And I send out Porygon and Florges. So immediately I get having the special attack boost is nice. I say Granville's nice, like kind of nice for me, and also like a nice bring, just because it's like it's a unique ring, right? Um, but immediately he doesn't have Thwacky on the field, meaning no Grassy Surge, meaning he's probably not Unburdened Halucha, is my guess. Um, that was my kind of immediate thought. Um, and I also am thinking to myself how he he's likely to not be able to kill like both, right? And so I can do some meaningful work with both my Pokemon. I don't want to commit my Terra turn one, so he knocks me off and then just goes for CC. So I was gonna go for Terra Ghost, but I don't do it, and because I'm like, oh well, the knockoff does more damage that way, but I forget about
Yeah, yeah.
CC just OHKOing once I lose my Eviolite. And so that was entirely on me. I just lose Porygon. I was going for Trick Room, so I wasn't able to get that set up, which really sucks. But at least I can skill swap the Electabuzz, right, which does pretty much nothing. All it does is give Florges Static, which is an annoying ability sometimes, right? There's a 30% chance that he gets paralyzed. And it gives Electabuzz Symbiosis, which means if I get rid of Halucha's ability or item, then Electabuzz will give it to Halucha and get rid of his Eviolite. That's a good thing theoretically, but it's not. It doesn't really do anything for me, and it's definitely not worth losing Porygon. So bad position turn one for me for sure. He immediately switches out into Thwacky, and I Terra because I expect a fighting type attack, actually from the Halucha, not from the Electabuzz, but it works out still. And I can Moonblast the Thwacky and high horsepower the Electabuzz, but I missed the 95% accurate high horsepower, so really sucks for me. I made a bad decision on turn one. Turn two, I just got unlucky, so I feel like I'm in a pretty bad spot over there. Yeah, an idea for skill swap was mainly for the Farigiraf. On this turn, it was, or on turn one, it was to skill swap the Electabuzz, so then I could knock off the Pokemon next to it and force Electabuzz to give up its item to the Pokemon next to it. Ideally, that'd be Halucha and not Thwacky. Also means that any Unburden is unsuccessful because it gets the item of the Pokemon next to it. So it could have been great in theory, but it was really kind of useless turn one. Could have also Moonblasted and maybe Oko at Halucha would have done a lot of damage, right? but I just didn't expect him to do an aggressive double up into Porygon, I guess. And so, yeah. Or I did expect it, and I'm like, nah, he doesn't actually go for that. And he did actually go for it. So then I get punished by bad RNG turn 2. And so now I'm really not feeling great about myself. He can fake me out, and I can't do anything about it. Knockoff does pretty much nothing, but it really reduces my damage, which sucks. Yeah, I mean, the crit fake out is just salt in the wound to my already bad luck. But losing Life Orb means my Sheer Force Life Orb combo doesn't happen anymore. So I miss out on 1.69 times to all of my attacks, which is just a huge damage multiplier. So it really sucks for me that I lose that. And you can see I use Charm. And actually, I like Charm a lot in this matchup. It's only bad into Hydropple and Ferrig, so I actually think it works pretty well overall. So yeah, Florges has potential to be good here. The knockoff again does pretty much nothing except to get rid of my Keyberry, which kind of sucks because the idea was if you click Fake Out into Florges, I get a defense boost. And that's good for me. But if you knock it off, then it doesn't actually proc, so that kind of sucks. As Thwacky repositions, but gets parried, so that was a little bit of good RNG. As it takes a lot from that Moonblast. And I finally hit Electabuzz, so Electabuzz would be dead now if I hit it the first time, which is unfortunate. But he's revealed his full team, and I have a lot of healthy Pokemon. He doesn't, so not in that bad of a spot, I guess. And then on this turn, I go for Protect Raj. I'm like, nah, I shouldn't Protect Raj because I can kill Electabuzz and then Hydrapple's gonna like Protect or Terra Steel or do something weird, right? But he does just Leaf Storm into Raj. So also I think I clicked Moonblast at Hydrapple forgetting about Follow Me or something like that. But I should have just protected Raj, and I was about to do that, and then I canceled it. And so that was 100% on me because I just lose Raj here. That's my second bad turn of the game. I had one unlucky turn, but this is my second bad turn.
I think the high horsepower would have just picked up the Electabuzz from full, actually, if it connected the first time around, because he still had Life Orb.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so that was even worse for me. Damn.
Yeah, so it actually just went down from full.
Yeah. And that would have been really nice. It actually was Eevee Electabuzz too, with a little bit of a defense investment, but despite that, I still would have killed because it's super effective and Raj is just so strong. I mean, 130 attack plus a 95 base power move, right? Or 90? Yeah. 95 base power move plus super effective. I mean, that's doing so much damage. Plus the Life Orb Shift Force, right? And so, really unfortunate that I lose Raj there, and that he wasn't able to put in the work like expected. So, really unfortunate. But anyways, now that I have Ursaluna and Florges, my goal is just kill Hydrapple and Electabuzz. So I want to make sure that Florges moves before, or attacks before, or attacks into the Hydrapple, I guess. I want Florges to attack into the Hydrapple, but he has Follow Me. So I go for Vacuum Wave into the Buzz and Moonblast into the Hydrapple, and he switches into Hawlucha, so that actually works out for me, right? Because Hawlucha loses all of his health, and so now it's a 2v2, both at full, but he's parried, and I don't know if I think I can OHKO Hydrapple here with a Moonblast, so the only problem is he does have Fake Out active, so we'll see kind of how this plays out. And he Terra Steals, and this is my third bad play because I just forget about Terra Steel and click Moonblast, and it was just a horrible play. He's clicked Terra Steel so often on Hydrapple, it felt like it should be predictable. I could also go for Moonblast and Earth Power to kind of cover my bases. Only problem with that play is if like Fake Out, right, is obviously still a threat. So, or he could Fake Out the Ursaluna, or if he doesn't Terra, it's bad for me. But it still feels like a generally pretty obvious Terra here. Puts him in a much better situation. So, forgetting about that is it's really unfortunate. So, it turns what would have been a guaranteed win pretty much of Thwacky versus full HP Florges and Ursaluna into a now 2v1. So, and at this point, it's pretty much over. He grassy glides, crits just to be mean, right? And then there's just kind of nothing Florges can do versus these two Pokemon. You can see he actually survives a really long time, which is really funny. But its only attack is Moonblast, so he's not able to chip away at Hydrapple too much. Um,
I'm
and
surprised he faked it. He went for the fake out into Florges over Ursaluna
yeah,
that
that
turn.
was maybe he
Maybe Retta Protect. I think that's the only reason.
maybe that or like a normal type move, which he would resist. Um, Probably not a Earth Power. Was expecting of the Grass type. Though I did almost go for it. So those 3 turns and then the unlucky high horsepower really cost me game 1, and so I definitely didn't deserve to win it because those 3 really bad turns. Um, and so coming into game 2, I'm feeling a little shaky because of that, but I know that Porygon is an incredibly powerful Pokemon. I know that Raj probably got to sit on the bench just because after you missed that high horsepower for me, I mean, that's like, you got to take some time and reflect. I mean, that's it's unacceptable. But yeah, I think my team's actually pretty good. I say my fault for like making those bad reads. I feel like that was on. I didn't put up a good performance. So game 2, I want to change that. And seeing the same lead, I know that Terraghost is incredibly safe. I don't think Lucha and Buzz can kill me even with a knockoff acrobatics or anything like that. But I'm also lagging tail Volbeat, so that's something to keep in mind. I want to try and trick their items, like giving Electabuzz, not the lagging tail instead of the Eviolite is a huge swing. I mean, he loses so much defense and moves last in his priority bracket, which is really bad for him. And Hawlucha, it means Unburden doesn't work, even though at this point I'm not entirely convinced that he is Unburdened because he didn't use it at all game 1. Or if so, I don't know what item he would be losing to unburden himself, right?
I think it would have Would it have triggered? I wasn't sure because I did come out on that one turn. I think it would have triggered
No, he
if it
never
was Grassy
revealed his
Seed.
item. Yeah, if it were Grassy Seed, I think maybe it would have revealed. We can.
Yeah, the turn it swapped in. I think that's the only time you would have been able
Oh
to
yeah,
figure it
there's
out.
one turn it came in and then died, right? Yeah, so it would have
Yeah.
procced. But it could be like White Herb, right? Or actually, it could be White Herb because he already CC'd too. So like, I'm not entirely convinced it's Unburden. Actually, I think it might be Mold Breaker or maybe Limber for some weird reason because of my like Thunder Wave spam. But yeah, so at this point, I just tear it Ghost because I feel like it's very safe, and then I trick the Lagging Tail into Hawlucha instead because I think Hawlucha is probably a more valuable Pokemon to make move last than Electabuzz. Because I can always trick Electabuzz in turn 2, right? But I learned that it's the Power Herb on Hawlucha. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That means he's probably going for like something weird like Sky Attack, which he goes for, and I set up Trick Room. And it means that Hawlucha, I can't hit him, I believe. I think that's how. I think it's like a dig move. And so I don't think I can hit him. But I'm not entirely sure, actually. Can you fact check that? Well, but I decided just I can kill Buzz here, right? And if I switch into Ursaluna, he's probably targeting now the Volbeat. Let's be real here with a flying type attack. So I have a very comfortable switch into Ursaluna. So I do that. I Ice Beam the Electabuzz, partially predicting a switch into Hydrapple, but also just knowing that I can maybe 2-hit kill it. I can definitely 2-hit kill it with Ice Beam and then Terra Blast. So I feel pretty comfortable going for this play. It just would have done Shadow Ball would have done nothing into Frigg, and Ice Beam does so much more into any of his other switch-ins. So it feels like a safer play. And then, despite going for low kick, it only does 35 actually, and I live a Sky Attack as well, so that works out very well for me. And now that Ursaluna is slower than my Porygon, I can just comfortably go for Earth Power and Ice Beam, and because he doesn't switch and doesn't Terra, I kill both. So I'm in a much better spot at this point. And he reveals Room Service Hydrapple at this point too. So, pretty interesting situation. Though I feel pretty good overall. I know that Thwackey is probably going to click Fake Out in Ursaluna. Or he could be clicking knockoff into that slot as well. Maybe Grassy Glide if he thinks he can pick up a kill. But he definitely can't fake out the Porygon. So Porygon's in a pretty good situation here. I switched into Blaziken expecting a fake out into the slot. And I switched into Volbeat expecting a Leaf Storm into the Porygon slot. And he Terra Steals, which is great because he overcommits, right? Leaf Storm does come out into my resisted Volbeat, and so does Fake Out into my +1 defense because it's Grassy Seed Blaziken. So I reveal my back two Pokemon and some tech with Grassy Seed, but I think it's worth it because it means I have a very clean way to win this game, and I save Mon differential. So it's kind of two birds with one stone. So at this point, I feel like with the one turn of Trick Room left, I'm fine keeping Blaziken on the field. I trick the Thwackey just to see kind of what item it has. I figure Electabuzz is Eviolite because if Electabuzz and Thwackey are both coming, I figure there's no way he doesn't make the Follow Me user have the Eviolite. But other than this AV, now this could be really bad for me because my Volbeat is running three status moves in one special attack, which is Dazzling Gleam, because I'm running a Tail Glow Baton Pass it this week. So I can put myself at +3 special attack, maybe even +6 if I click it twice, and then Baton Pass to someone like Porygon or Ursaluna or Florges, which is a really good situation for me to be in, especially if I can catch him in a spot where he's not able to deal as much offensive damage. But I want to make use of that, so I'm running Dazzling Gleam. I don't want to be forced to click it, though, especially in front of a Terra Steel Hydrapple, so feels like I'm in a somewhat bad spot. I actually tank this Earth Power, which is awesome, because he's -2 Hydrapple. But then he knocks off the AV from me, so the play really works out so well for me. And I CC get Hydrapple down to 8% as Trick Room ends. So, just for good measure, Blaziken gets a speed boost on top of that, so I feel like I'm in a great spot at this point. I could probably win without losing another Pokemon even, and so I feel really, really good about myself. I switched into P2 just because I think I want to preserve Volbeat, right? I knock off just because he could be protecting, could whatever, but I don't want to lose my defense. I was at +1 and now I'm back down to neutral, so I just want to stay at neutral. So I knock off because I know that kills. And then Thwackey goes for knockoff, does pretty much nothing. And at this point, I can very easily clean up with a knockoff and just to deal some nice damage, and then Ice Beam to pick up the kill. So felt very good about that game. 1-4-0. And I revealed a lot of tech, but I also learned a lot of valuable information about him, especially the Halucha set. But learning about AV Thwackey means, okay, he's definitely Fake Out and Knockoff in Grassy Glide and U-Turn, right? Like that's just full set straight up.
Yeah, it's just bread and butter that he's been bringing every time, I think.
Yeah, he has revealed, in fact, the full set at this point, and AV. So I already know everything there is to know about Thwackey, pretty much.
Also, you can attack into Sky Attack. It doesn't make him flying.
Okay, I figured because he was on the field still, but I would have been a much better play if I just Ice Beamed. And
yeah, it would have saved a lot of health on Ursa.
well, I don't know if it would have been a better play, but because the Volbeat still kind of, well, he goes for a low kick actually. So if I had stayed in and just Ice Beamed and then like Tail Glowed, I maybe could have been in a much better spot. But I won 4-0, so I can't really be that mad about myself for that. And Sky Attack's one of those moves that I've only seen used a handful of times, so I can't blame myself too much. But still, it's a Pokemon move.
No one expects a Sky Attack.
I should have just looked it up or something. But
I mean, you had 30 seconds. Like, you don't have much time to look stuff up.
That's fair. Oh, thanks for giving me some grace, but that's
inadvertently, I think him running that instead of the standard set made it worse for him.
Oh,
he would have been able to pick up the Volbeat that turn.
Yeah, if he had just like Brave Birded.
Yeah, Baybird, or well, like if he's Grassy Seed Acrobatics, then it's like, well, I think you live that.
Yeah. But yeah, Volbeat probably would have died, but he was in a great spot to kind of come back in and tank another attack, and give me some information. So worked out very well in the end.
It might have been pretty bad if he clicked Follow Me on the Electabuzz immediately. Because then you're forced to trick the Electabuzz at that point.
Turn 1?
Yeah.
That's.
Right.
I mean, I lose Volbeat, but he loses Eviolite, and
Yeah,
so that's not
yeah.
even that.
No, I'm saying it's like it means that Hawlucha is able to go online. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, but
but I guess speed doesn't
it's still
matter.
kind of this situation where like he's just ice beamable. Then even if I lose Volbeat, I can bring out Ursa for free at full health, and so it's like still a pretty good spot for me.
Yeah, still good.
Yeah, it could have worked out a little worse for me, but let's move on to game three, and I feel like the Porygon strategy worked great, so I definitely want to go for that again. And Ursa also looked good, so I want to bring that back as well. So I lead Porygon and Blaziken this time because I'm expecting kind of a faster mode, and I'm expecting a Thwacky lead, which he hasn't done either game, but I'm expecting it this time because Thwacky has been a little annoying for him. So I'm like maybe he uses it. Though I feel pretty comfortable about my ability to make Thwacky feel pretty useless, and that's my strongest intention throughout game three. So with Blaziken at +1. Yeah, I still opt for Protect because I Terra Ghost because Fake Out is on the table and now it literally can't do anything to me. Um, Big Lucha can go for Sky Attack, but if so, he wastes his Power Herb on a Protect. Um, and he could attack into Porygon, but again, I don't think that kills. Maybe it does, and I was wrong, but I feel pretty comfortable with this play. And he goes for Taunt, actually, and Knockoff. So it would have been great into a Trick Room play, right? It would have really punished me. But instead, I actually just go for Ice Beam into Lucha. So I don't exactly remember what I was expecting him to go for, but I figured Halucha was just going to attack and not Terra. So even despite being Terra Steel, I felt pretty comfortable about just clicking Ice Beam into it, and that worked out really well for me. I was glad it worked out how it did. Blaziken obviously waste a turn, but it's not invaluable because it feels like with a Pokemon that can OHKO you and with Fake Out on the table, it's a reasonable play to go for Protect. Um, can't be that mad about myself for that.
Yeah, like his obvious play was to double into the Blaziken, but like the Protect is also really obvious, so it's kind of a game of chicken.
Yeah. And I at this point I feel like I'm just up a full mon pretty much. And I've lost my Eviolite, yeah, but like that's pretty much nothing. And I get a speed boost, right? So I outspeed whoever's coming in. And it happens to be Gramble. So at this point I'm like, well, I'm in a great spot, right? Because Gramble's not very good into my team overall, in my opinion. I think it was actually a mistake to bring it. The two mons that I was like, I will refuse to prep for it on his team are Gramble and Mismagius, just because I feel like these two mons can't really do anything into my team. I only have two physical attackers that I'm bringing. Granted, if I brought Samurott, then Gramble would have been better into me for sure, but I decided to leave it this week. So, despite being my number 2 killer and the number 4 killer overall, I benched it this week, and so I didn't feel like Gramble was too threatening, and so I'm pretty happy actually to see it here. And then at this point, I was like, I want to get some damage off. My Blaziken actually does not have a fire type move, so, which would have been nice to click into Thwacky. Instead, I have just close combat, which I could click, knock off, or rock slide. And so I click rock slide, fishing for flinch potentially, and just kind of lets me see what he's going for without being. It's not a bad play, but because especially the close combat might be a worse play because it lowers my defense, which I've already boosted. But at this point, because I'm -1, can't be doing that much damage. Might as well just go for rock slide.
I thought the knock would be good into Thwacky, get rid of its Eviolite.
It's
Assault
AV,
Vest.
yeah. I figure that I kill it actually with Ice Beam I think was my thought process because I'm +1.
Yeah.
He
Like, that was a
U-turns though.
consideration if you lived or not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, he's faster than you.
for sure.
Yeah.
And he does go for U-turn into Hydrapple, which is weird because he's weak to Ice Beam still,
Oh,
right?
the Ice Beam there would have been so good.
Ice Beam would have been amazing, yeah.
That
But
would have just ended the game on the spot.
yeah, it actually would have. But I just thought that would I don't know. I thought maybe he would go for like something like a switch into Farig. I think was maybe my thought process. But then he would bench Hydrapple. It probably would have made more sense to Ice Beam into that slot, for sure. But I figure if I can get Gramble low, then like Blaziken can deal damage to whoever's coming in.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. But I actually don't kill Gramble here on this turn, which I expect to just kill it before it can move. And maybe that's part of my logic, like I just killing it before it can move. But it actually hangs on here. And clicks Play Rough and does a lot of damage. And so now I'm in like a little bit more of an awkward spot. Though I know both of my Pokemon outspeed both of his. So still feel pretty good about this overall. And on this turn, I go for another play that like, alright, this should be a guaranteed kill, right? I go for close combat and Ice Beam into Hydrapple, but it doesn't even kill. And that's because this is max HP Hydrapple. I did pretty much expect it to be max HP, but I guess I either calced wrong or just made some assumptions without looking at calcs, which is really unfortunate because 252 HP, 4-Spit F is just very, very kind of normal. Something that I could have easily predicted, but I didn't. So that's
-1 attack kick actually mattering here.
Yeah. Shadow Ball would have been better. I think that would have actually covered even better, right? Because, well, maybe not. I might not have killed, but still.
I think your play here was fine.
Yeah, it's just the second turn in a row where I assumed something would kill and it didn't, so it just feels bad. And it gives him a opportunity to attack with both. So he goes for Play Roughs, picks up the kill on Porygon, and Earth Power also picks up the kill. Though, despite losing both Pokemon this turn and not killing either of his, I feel like I'm in a great spot because I have Ursaluna in the back and Volbeat in the back. Now, it means I can't do any of my Tail Glow Baton Bash shenanigans like I wanted to do, which is really unfortunate, of course. But I have Ursaluna with Vacuum Wave, and Volbeat can click Tail Glow once or twice, and then start clicking D-Gleam to do a lot of damage. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot overall. As he switches to Thwackey, which is a weird, is an interesting play. My goal was just to kill Hydrapple before I could move. Only thing is I knew I outsped, so I probably could have just Earth Powered for like 10% more into Thwackey or something. On switching.
I could also went Blood Moon maybe, because I think he wanted to switch out for Regenerator.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. The only reason is if he stays in, I click Blood Moon, waste it on the Hydrapple, then I can't hit Thwackey very hard, was my thought process. But I think Blood Moon's also a fine play. Kind of depends. But I actually tricked the Gramble here to give it the lagging tail. Which maybe not really necessary, but I also gotta figure out what its item is because I don't know what it is at this point, and Play Rough has done a lot of damage, so like maybe he's a damage boosting item, and it actually happens to be a Fairy Feather, so that's part of the reason why I did so much into Porygon. Also the fact that I didn't have Eviolite, but I see that I live this, and I can actually, this is a 3-hit kill instead of a 2-hit kill. So, especially with Grassy Terrain Recovery, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot at this point, at turn 5, despite being down full Pokemon. So he goes for Fake Out, and I have no way of stopping it, but it means I can Tail Glow, right? And there's no move he can click that can kill me here, so I'm in a good spot to just kind of win with a pretty easy combination of moves. I mean, we already know Thwacky's full set, so he can't really threaten Ursa too much. And I can D-Gleam comfortably, kill Gramble because of the special attack drop, or special defense drop I got on Shadow Ball earlier. Blood Moon can easily kill Thwacky, and then Hydrapple's just going to die to Earth Power, so.
I think the only way he lived that turn is if he went after the, what's it called, the Volbeat with the Thwacky. Grassy, it's actually unfortunate that Grassy Glide faded on that turn.
Grassy Terrain
as well for him. So it's like,
if you mean on like if he went for knockoff on this turn into Volbeat.
Yeah, I think he needed to pick up Volbeat on this turn.
Mm-hmm. I think that would have mattered a lot because I would have killed Thwacky but taken Play Rough damage, and then he could like protect in weird ways with Hydrapple.
Yeah, it just gave him more options
Yeah.
in the very end, last turn.
Because both Hydrapple and Gramble had Protect, so he could just read me well with Protect. But with the way it worked out, I'm happy taking that win. And I feel bad because Alberto's playing Soup next week, and Soup is obviously Soup. So both of them kind of wanted to watch this game, but they're both showing up just now.
Oh, there he is.
But that's why I upload the VODs, right? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty interesting game. I think we both made some pretty bad plays, but some pretty good plays at times too. Maybe not the most well played set from either of us, but it was pretty interesting at least.
It's very back and forth. Like anyone could have won. Like
yeah, throughout most of the set. So yeah, let's move on to Nick versus Saline, which I thought was a pretty interesting match coming into it, with Nick being in a really good spot off of the ever since he took over really for SMB. He won the only 2 games he played so far coming into this. Though he was still 3-3 because he was taking over a 1-3 team. So at this point, he really pushes himself up into the playoff running. Whereas Saline was also 3-3 coming into this. So whoever won pretty much not secured themselves in playoffs, but gave themselves a really good shot at being in playoffs. And whoever lost is potentially at risk of not even making playoffs. So that's why I think coming into this one was pretty interesting.
I have to say, the subs have been doing pretty well, including me. All the subs yeah.
Well, because Nick went 2-0 before this week as a sub. You went 3-1 before this week as a sub, and Rick just subbed in, so he actually has.
Well, he took a game off of someone who hasn't dropped a single match yet. So that's right. Oh, well.
He hadn't played coming into this. So at this point, it's the subs are looking pretty solid. You gotta shut up, Wall. But anyways, Nick versus Saline, I think, was a pretty interesting one because the only form of speed control on Saline's side is Trick Room Meowscarada and Tailwind Salamence. And looking at Nick's side, he has Tailwind Rabambi and obviously Trick Room on Indeedee. And he has a very, very slow team. Can also do Trick Room Armarouge, but very easy for him to get up the Trick Room, and not a great way for Saline to stop it.
Technically, there's also Sticky Web, but
we're not playing singles. So it feels like a pretty interesting matchup for Saline, just because also the sun is just so bad for Golden Go, who is your main threat, right? So
yeah, I can't tear out of his weakness in the matchup.
Oh yeah, that makes it even worse. And then also there's Rhyperior, who just looks so good in this team, honestly. But yeah, let's get into it. Immediate Indeedee Armarouge lead, so very standard, into a Crook Sylveon lead, which is quite interesting. It means a strong knockoff could easily come out here. And Hyper Voice or a Calm Mind, like some setup, definitely possible from the Sylveon. So I actually immediate switch out into Mint, which is interesting. The double Intimidate on the 2 special attackers. Maybe he felt that a Expanding Force was coming out, and that he wanted to live somehow, or maybe he expected an Armor Cannon.
I think the Armor Cannon probably made more sense to be afraid of.
But yeah, a little bit of a weird turn. And a Wide Guard comes out here.
It
was for the Earthquake. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Wanted to click Earthquake.
What a read.
Didn't want to hurt his teammate, but yeah, the Wide Guard's great. Actually,
it might have been for the Sylveon, honestly.
I think that's what it probably was for. But it working for Earthquake is great. I mean,
Happy
means
accident.
Armarouge is completely healthy, and Ndidi doesn't take any chip at all. So at this point, it feels like a very, very, very free Trick Room, and so Sylveon kind of has to switch back in. Mence goes for Terra Fire, covering for an Armor Cannon or a D-Gleam. And the Armor Cannon does come out, but into Sylveon, actually. And D-Gleam also comes out. So still a lot of wasted Terra on Mence for sure. And Dueling does a lot into the Armarouge, but doesn't even really come close to killing. So that's
That
it.
also reveals Flash Fire on Armarouge.
Oh, yeah, because no weak armor. Which, I mean, you kind of expected, let's be real.
Yeah.
You don't expect weak armor on a Trick Room team. So, also, immediately, Sylveon is the fastest thing on the field, which makes sense because it's min speed, right? But the 4% left on Armarouge is brutal. It will die to itself, though.
Expanding Force.
But not before doing most of Salamence' health and killing Sylveon. So, really, really bad spot for Saline. And he kills himself, but not before Salamence dies to a D-Gleam as well. And so now it's a 2v3, but Torkoal gets to come out in front of Golden Go. So really, really bad position for Saline. Immediate helping hand eruption. And
Okaberry still goes down.
Eats the Okaberry and still dies. Probably
calcs game.
I mean, considering it's 76 HP, 28 SPDF, it's probably calced to survive a max special attack eruption from Torkoal, but maybe not a helping hand one, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There's nothing he can do at that point, except maybe protect only delays the inevitable.
Yeah, and Crook still dies. Yeah, you kind of need to double protect on someone, and then even then, it's not a good spot to be in. So feels pretty rough because that's a pretty brutal loss for Saline. I mean, at 4 turns, this is like the ideal Sunroom matchup, right? Except maybe Ndidi dies instead of Armarouge, but you set up Trick Room turn 1. You're able to side spam a little. You get Torkoal out, and he just Okos both with Eruption. I mean, really.
Still a Mon that wasn't revealed in this match either.
I hope it was Rhyperior because Rhyperier's a demon. But yeah,
could also been Lilligant. That wouldn't have been bad either in this scenario.
Oh yeah, because of the Trick Room. Yeah, in and out of Trick Room, it's still great in Sun, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see if Saline's able to adapt for game 2, but Nick is really coming in with the upper hand. And immediate side spam lead again. Very different lead on Saline's part with Sylveon and Meowscarada. Probably wanting to get a really strong knockoff, I imagine.
Yeah.
Knockoff off. And an immediate follow me, but it's the Colberberry on the Ndidi. As Sylveon says, light screen before the Trick Room. Interesting.
Misty Terrain.
And Misty Terrain to get rid of the expanding force hitting both. That's and the 1.5 damage boost. Really, really nice. Also allows for priority moves like Sucker Punch or Fake Out on the Berserker. So really, really nice tech there.
Armor Cannon.
The Sash is really nice to Meowscarada because you live. And but the D-Gleam is great too because now you didn't even click Expanding Force, right? Which would have been tempting to click before. But you don't click it at all, and you kill Meowscarada. So, not a bad turn for either of them, I guess. But Nick feels like he still definitely has the upper hand, given the Trick Room being up, right? It is a Rhyperior switch in here, trying to probably reset the Psychic Terrain as soon as possible. Though he takes over half from that Hyper Voice, which is a lot. And because of the -1 SPDF on the armor, she still takes about half as well. Or 36.
35, yeah.
Yeah. And then E-Force comes out as a single target move and does not a lot of damage. Really unfortunate spot for Nick almost because he loses a lot of health. And then Dual Wingbeat picks up the kill on Armarouge too. So Indeedy's able to come back out and reset that terrain, but it's a question of how much damage is Rhyperior going to do.
Sylveon just gets a free turn here though.
Well, he gets undersped by Rhyperior.
Oh, true.
So it's a question of if he can kill Sylveon, I guess. And his Protect on Man's probably expecting a Rock Slide, but heavy slam.
Heavy slam.
And the crit into Sylveon. Really bad spot for Saline at this point.
Clear amulet.
And the clear, yeah. So there's not even -1 on this thing. So really, really unfortunate. I think maybe, was it already revealed because of the? No, Mets was already on the
No.
field. So, um, yeah, it's a brutal spot to be in if you're Saline because it's it's a pretty unfortunate spot. With one turn of Trick Room left and you've already clicked Protect on Meds, it feels like there's kind of no way out at this point. But the Terra Grass is actually really interesting. Meds does just go down to a Rock Slide, and Deagling doesn't do that much to Crook. Able to get a double kill, or not, sorry, able to pick up a kill on Ndidi with the Earthquake as well. But you did 16%. You probably just click an Earthquake again into the Torkoal, so feels like it's a lost game for Saline if he just double attacks.
I don't
Though,
like the protect here. I don't like the
yeah,
protect there.
oh, I mean, he's able to live, but if that was a knockoff into Rhyperior and it weren't Choice Band Crocodile, which, I mean, it's max attack, or Choice Band, you can probably tell that from the damage, but even if it weren't, then you lose Rhyperior, then you can probably just Earthquake and maybe kill Torkoal. So it depends.
I guess he had some information from the previous game. Wait, no, it was a wide guard, so I never got to see the damage.
Yeah. So
yeah, this is first information there.
But I mean, it works out for Nick. So also, yeah, that's a great comment, Sue. This really was confident piloting by Nick. He felt like he just never let up on the offense, and it's a very interesting performance by him because he showed kind of how to be offensive and defensive at the same time. I mean, we saw Trick Room turn 1 paired with the wide guard. So wide guard is playing defense while you do make the move more offensive, or at least progress making move of Trick Room, and you helping hand Eruption, and you can attack while or the heavy slam coming out into the into the Sylveon here, just going for big damage while going for more like kind of a safe chip option on the DD. So a very aggressive play overall, but also like balanced a little bit of support with that offense, and so really, really impressive. Also, yeah, just to clarify, Nick is Grinny129 and Saline is Salty Sundays. Just because some people, I won't name names, but some people don't like to put their showdown name as what they like to be called. So
who would that be? Huh?
I don't know. There's this weird guy called Toxicosis who we're about to watch actually. Who
oh hey, it's me.
Yeah, WA / Abyss Array / Toxicosis. Charcoal's cool though because he, even though he has 2 little girls as his profile picture, which is a little sus, he just goes by Charcoal consistently. So, yeah, what were you kind of thinking heading into this match?
So, for me, this looks like it's like Tailwind versus Trick Room, but I feel like I don't even need to click Tailwind in the matchup. Just looking at this team in prep, I'm like, there's only one mon that I'd consider clicking Tailwind against, and it's the Electrode. And it didn't show up, so I didn't have to worry about that for the match, because that was one thing that looked really annoying for turn 1. So yeah. I was afraid of a Life Orb Terra Fire Electrode coming out, and that could kind of nuke most things on this team, because it's good into Whimsicott. It's good into Vikavolt. It's good into the Fluffy from Houndstone, which I did bring. So it kind of nukes half this team. So yeah, I was afraid of that, but he definitely brings Skeledirge.
Yeah,
that was really another big threat. Funny enough, I wasn't that afraid of the Ursaluna. Like, I think that was the mon I felt least afraid of on this team.
We also ran a really interesting set on the Vikavolt, where your Terra Ghost and your Chillinberry, meaning
I was Chillinberry.
You have the damage from a single normal type attack, i.e. Facade, right? Meaning you can easily live that, plus your Levitate, so you're immune to Headlong. So his best move to hit you is Crunch, actually. And maybe Fire Punch, but you can Terra out of that, right? So you feel like you, as Vikavolt, you actually are great Ursaluna check, despite, being an electric type into a ground type.
But part of it was like also for fake out because of the Grimmsnarl as well. So it's like I want to at least make him think a little bit for clicking fake out and
That's why you
everything
got
on my
the
team.
double ghost, yeah.
Yeah.
And you also have a faster fake out, so that's nice as well.
Yeah, I've also faster fake out. I mean, he could go for cloak still, so.
Oh wait, you also have a natural ghost type on top of the two tier ghosts, so a lot of options. And Whimsicott is known for running covert cloak, so.
Yo.
Yeah, I think from his perspective, he feels like he has or I would kind of feel that he has a little bit of an uphill battle coming into this, but he has a lot of value on something like the Gardevoir. I think can put in a lot of work here potentially if he goes for a faster mode. I think one Executor actually was pretty interesting into your team. With the Vikavolt, you actually underspeed him by 1 point, which is really annoying. But other than that, Executor is good into the rest of your team pretty much.
Yeah, I think Executor pretty much would want to run Room Surface, I think.
If it into the Vikavolt, it would be nice, but at the same time,
even then, it's not that great in that matchup.
Yeah. So it probably just hopes to not be face to face with Vikavolt and just deal with everything else. I will say that he kind of deals with a few of your Pokemon, but at the same time, if something like the Houndstone maybe is like a little bit more problematic for it, and it's also very slow and has a 4 times weakness, and that's something that can be exploited, right? Or its other weaknesses can be exploited with the Sludge Bomb or Terra Poison, right? I guess on Terra Blast on the Hydreigon and the a Poison Jab on Sneasel and Bug Buzz, and so there's a lot of threats into something like that as well. Another thing to consider is the Follow Me, obviously on Electivire, could play a role in this.
Yeah, I think my thoughts was I think if Electivire goes down, I just have a really easy time just attacking whatever's in front of me at that point. So I think that was my number 1 mod to get rid of, and then after that, everything should fall. That was my game plan.
Okay, makes sense. And with seeing that it is Terra Water, if you have something like Terra Flying, you can still get some nice chip with something like Earth Power. And you can deal pretty neutral damage into it most of the time, so that is quite nice. So yeah, let's get into it. Do you want to take the lead with this one?
Yeah, so starting this lead, I see both fairies come out. I'm like, okay. Funny enough, I didn't actually pack a poison move on my Sneasel here. I was packing Throat Chop and I think Brick Break because I was expecting potential screens.
Mm-hmm.
And what's it called? Throat Chop was to hit the the Stop Torch Song from Skeleturge,
which is a pretty cool attack.
And then my other 2 moves were Fake Out and
Feint.
I had to pack Feint, yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty.
In case I want to target something down, that's what the Feint was for. In this case, though, I kind of wish I had Poison Jab over Feint.
Yeah,
I didn't expect a double fairy lead.
I also learned the items of Rocky Helmet and Life Orb, which is really nice. But he traces your Frisk and actually gets to learn your items as well. As you see the screen get covered up, it's Choppleberry and Eviolite, which makes sense. But the Choppleberry is really nice to know for something like a close combat Ursaluna, or like a close combat, I guess, Drain Punch Electivire.
Yeah. Originally, it was for Quackable, but he didn't bring it, so the first item doesn't matter this match in this set.
But then Fake Out makes a lot of sense here. He fakes you out too.
I think that Fake Out's weird because I have Inner Focus anyways, so even if I just did a normal attack, it doesn't.
Or if you switch, basically it just never does anything.
Yeah.
So that is a big mistake.
You could have hit a harder hitting attack instead.
Or just Fake Out the Furret, right?
Yeah.
If you want to put Fake Out either way. But yeah, it feels a little bit poor decision making. And Super Fang is quite nice just to get that little bit of damage. The Thunderwave misses, which is really nice for you. And here's where a poison move would be so nice. Oof.
Yeah.
Helping Hand for a 4 times resisted attack? What are we doing? Why Brick Break? Did you expect him to go first Reflect or Light Screen?
Yeah, just in case he goes for that, because Throat Chop doesn't really do that much more from what I remember, because it's not stab boosted.
That's
I think
true.
I think I only hit it for
What's the
30%, maybe.
Is the difference between neutral and 4 times resisted? I think that's still pretty significant.
I'll
Yeah.
have to check on that. I don't.
That's pretty unfortunate. Also,
Yeah, it's like if he went for the reflect, it's same amount. It still doesn't kill as if he goes for a reflect. So I'm like, I might as well try to break. What was it? If he attempts to go for it, I'm gonna break a reflector light screen if it comes out as well.
yeah, it feels like a little bit of overcommitment though, going for helping hand Brick, I guess. Maybe like a Super Fang into Grimstar might be nice as well, right? If you're just kind of letting Cecil get some chip before dying, if that's the goal. I think that'd be more valuable use of Cecil's turn, or just Brick Break into Grimmsnarl and not go into the Gardevoir. But I guess if you're attacking first, then I don't know. Anyways,
yeah.
He's able to just kill you back with Psychic. Though the Life Orb chip is quite nice for you because it means you can kill him quite easily, right? He's probably going to go down soon. And now Hydreigon is in a position where he's facing down 2 fairy types as a Dark Dragon type, but at the same time, like maybe you can deal with Grimmsnarl another way, though Terra Poison, Terra Blast feels great into Grim, so... Follow Me actually works really well because you're able to not immediately commit your Terra.
Yeah, part of it also was in case you made a hard read on a Thunder Wave. That's what I was most afraid of on that turn.
On the Follow Me, or on the...
Oh no, if he went for the Thunder Wave onto the Hydreigon there, like a hard read for me to Terra.
Oh, for the Terra, yeah. I was gonna say you can't.
Yeah, in case I was gonna Terra, yeah. That's what I mean.
And that's somewhat valid, I guess. Yeah, I think that play works out great just because you don't have to Terra right away. And now in front of like the Skeletor, if you can just keep redirecting away the Grimmsnarl, then that's great. You can just delay the Terra even more. So works out very well in your favor here.
I think I made the read that he protects here. Actually, yeah.
He switches into Ursa.
Oh, this.
And does protect.
I double into the Ursa here. Oh no, I didn't double here.
Oh, you did not double the Ursa. Follow Me and Earthbound. You did not double the Ursa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that good protect on him. He gets a free burn on the now he gets a free burn on Ursaluna. Only problem is Hydreigon could always like switch into Houndstone maybe, and then like you could also have a Terra. Like there's a way to shut down kind of Ursaluna. But it still feels like a very good turn for him, especially because you wasted your attack on both, right? So
yeah.
Immediate switch out on the previous protect. Ooh, and then
this is unfortunate.
Yeah, I remember this.
This picks up.
Because Super Fang, has the attack of Ursaluna, and then Dragon Pulse we see just 53% would have killed before it can even move, right? Also, you have 3 Pokemon with your Terra available, and he only has 2 Pokemon available, so puts you in a great spot. But instead, he's able to Fire Punch, gets the burn on top of that. It's just like, come on.
The burn is actually kind of matters here. That means I wouldn't go down. Like he's gonna double protect or something here, and what's it called? Then it'll tick down my Furret without him having to do anything.
Yeah, and Furret can just die, and so that kind of sucks. Then a Terra Poison here is actually quite nice because the Terra Poison Terra Blast is available. But yeah, now as you said, it's a little bit of a problem because you have the Furret who's at 1% and he's just gonna die next turn. He doesn't. You kind of have to click Follow Me, right? But he can just kind of stall it out with Protect. So and he does protect.
Gets a double here.
He does hit the double protect, which kind of sucks. Yeah. Especially because you would have just killed it, right? And Furret was going to go down either way, but then it's a 2v1 at least. And and now you have to waste a turn attacking the Ursa. So that kind of sucks. And then Torch Song does a lot, but he doesn't actually go for the kill or the damage into Vikavolt. I think because it didn't kill either way, was the thought process. And so you could attack Hydreigon, which outspeeds you, obviously, twice, and then once you're at +2, you can probably kill Vikavolt.
Yeah, but he just didn't have enough time to do that.
Yeah, or but yeah, not enough HP, and so the Earth Power is able to pick up that kill. He actually had Terra Grass, or no, Terra Electric. Yeah, if he were Terra Grass, maybe it's more of a mind game, right? Because Ghost resists the Terra. Well, you just click Dragon Pulse, I guess, and you still win. But maybe he can pick up the kill on the Hydreigon, which helps with the differential, at least.
Yeah.
But the Terra Electric feels like a very poor Terra type because the ground weakness is a big problem, and he keeps that, right? And you don't actually gain anything else really from
any defensive properties.
Yeah.
Really. It's like maybe like what? The only reason why I see electric is like maybe he's afraid of my Vikavolt.
Or maybe Terra Blast for the Milotic, which was benched this week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well.
Actually, there's a reason why I didn't bring Melodic, because I was afraid of the Electrode, and I'm like, okay, both of the stabs, if he figures out the item I have, you can just click the other stab. So that's the main reason why I didn't bring Melodic in the matchup.
Yeah, which is reasonable. And he actually was Terra Electric, Terra Blast, probably specifically for that, which feels kind of obvious, but Terra Grass still would have worked, right? You could have Terra Grass, Terra Blasted into it still.
Maybe he didn't like the... Well, if he's grass, then he's like... Now he's also... Along with his fairies and his Executor, they're all weak to Poison Terra Blast.
Yeah, Poison and Bug, right? So it's not a great time to turn in. No, but you lose your ground weakness at least, and force some mind games at least.
Yeah.
So...
Even if you never plan to click it, you should at least force a mind game.
But coming out of game 1, how are you feeling kind of with your strategy?
That felt okay. What's it called? I didn't even reveal my... No, I did reveal my whole team. Yeah. I'm like, I didn't... I thought of using Whimsicott in the first game even, but I'm like, I didn't think he'd go tail... Like, I didn't need Tailwind for the set. So... it was fine. I'm like... Vikavolt was in a weird spot. I'm like, Vikavolt is in a really weird spot. He just brings the same 4 again. So that's why I switched it. Well, we'll see. I change it up when I bring. But I figured that... well, you'll see.
All right, yeah. Coming into game 2, I think Charcoal definitely wants to switch his approach. And you can see immediately a different lead. Just kind of like a follow me Trick Room kind of idea. But you gotta learn both of his items right away. So it means you learn about the Covert Cloak, which is undoubtedly for the fake out on Sneasel. Also, kind of
I really Sneasel because I'm like, it didn't. If they lead the same thing again, like Sneasel looks really bad.
Because he felt after turn 1, he felt like you just kind of useless, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, he's not going to be useless, but I mean, after turn 1, he's not doing that much really. So. And that was kind of the same thing we saw with like kind of me trying to exploit Thwacky, and in this set I think like the fake out was kind of his biggest thing, and like once he got rid of fake out he could do like a little bit of damage, but like it's kind of the same thing with Sneasel. Like he once you lose the fake out pressure on Sneasel, he loses most of his value. Feint is a great way to keep him like doing something. But other than that, Throat Chop, if there's no Skeletor, it's just not doing much. Brick Break, if there's no screens, it's just not really doing much. So,
yeah,
I think it was pretty wise to leave him after seeing kind of his inability to do too much game 1, and you definitely don't.
This is the exact lead I was expecting.
And the Frisk is also kind of nice for him because he gets... Well, you already revealed both those items, so guess not.
Yeah.
But yeah, immediately the Terra Poison right away is kind of crazy. And Super Fang, but the Citrus Berry. There's so many emotions. I like 5 different reactions there. Like the first thing you see is as like the Terra Boys, and you're like, okay, maybe he goes for Terra Blast and Executor, which would be a big mistake because Follow Me is pretty obvious, right? And he does in fact go for Follow Me, so it makes it a bad play. But you Super Fang, like, okay, well now you can kill with Earth Power, and like then he eats the Citrus Berry. He's like, wait, you probably still kill with Earth Power, but it's hard to say. And then you go for Earth Power, and he lives at 1%, and it's like, oh, you went for the right play, but the Citrus Berry and his bulk, which actually was max HP and 172 speed F, with the Calm Nature. So it was a pretty
Yeah.
specially defensive, like a very specially defensive Electivire, and that works out really well for him.
Yeah.
It was still probably a roll too, but yeah, that's.
I
See,
could have, okay, if I knew he was that. Okay, obviously I don't know his spread, but I'm like I thought it'd just be max HP, max special defense. I'm like, I also thought of going. My other play was that turn was thinking of going for the helping hand with the earth power as well.
would that have
So I'm
changed
like,
it?
I think it does like 80. It was like it was I think it was a roll, but I'm like,
It says you did 74 without it, so
yeah, I think it's a slight roll because I'm like I didn't expect to do that much because I thought he'd be fully maxed in his special
yeah,
defense. So I'm like,
that's
I think it's like a 68% chance to kill off the top of my head when it's
okay.
calm or something like that. But I'm like, I think I'm like my odds of killing with the super fang is slightly higher, but I didn't I didn't account for the fact that he'd EV, so then his Stitch was proc on the super fang.
Yeah, that was that actually worked out really well for him.
I don't know if he did that on purpose or not, but it
I
worked
think he
out.
did, yeah. Because that's something we kind of always call each other out on is like making sure our berries proc at the right HP,
Yeah.
and so yeah, good like that's just where that it shows kind of the value of that.
Also, the Terra Poison was like, even though I know Trick Room's obvious, I'm like, I didn't want to take the risk that he just double attack into Hydreigon.
Yeah, I mean that's reasonable. Like a fighting type attack or dragon type could do so much, and the double up would kill. So
Yeah. So
and then
it was just a cover fire.
and then Soup's comment was pretty accurate. Of went through every stage of oh my god, like this turn was just like crazy. Um, and so yeah, I think I think he's now set himself up in a really good position because you've already committed your Terra and he lived. So
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this game's so over for me here. I'm like, if the Electivire went down, I would have felt a little bit better. Because
yeah,
that
even though he
means,
gets like a free Ursa
yeah,
switching or whatever, it's fine.
yeah.
Follow me right away though. It makes sense. Dragon Pulse does a lot, and Voltage picks up the kill, but he's switching out into potentially an attack. So yeah, he loses half his health on Ursa on that switch in, which is not a great feeling. As Houndstone comes out as well. The Protect expecting a Facade, which is exactly what it is. Perfect play there. And Body Press is way less than I expected into Ursa. Despite being max
So
Fizdef, right?
this is not max Pizdef.
No, yeah,
And
no, you're
based on the
156.
Dragon Pulse damage, he knows it's also like it seems more specially bulky.
Who?
The Houndstone
Oh, yeah, sorry, your Dragon Pulse. I
from
forgot
the
that.
yeah from
Right,
Dragon
his
Pulse.
Dragon Pulse. Yeah, yeah. And that's because you are 1/16th Def AV, right? And
Yeah,
156 Fizdef.
yeah. It was calc to take. I think it was I think it was maybe it was like a Specs flamethrower or something like that from
Oh,
Scalanders, I
yeah.
think. Something like that.
From Dirge, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe
So I'm like,
Gardevoir.
or no, wait, no. It was meant to take the Specs Terra Blast from Electrode, something like that. Just a
Oh, yeah,
big
Specs
special attack.
Terrifier. Terrible. Yeah. Because, yeah, I
But
remember
it
you
also
being pretty
happens to
concerned about
work
that.
well into most of his team anyway, so I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think the damage is like it's somewhat whatever, but at the same time it means he has a chance to kind of do something big here. So Gardevoir comes out, which is somewhat interesting. Traces the Fluffy actually, which is really funny, and then you go down. You're able to kill, but it's a pretty bad spot for you still. There's one turn of Trick Room left. It's Whim and Houndstone versus a Fluffy Gardevoir and Elective. I don't know if that makes some people excited. A Fluffy Gardevoir. Um, 1% elective fire, so basically 2 Pokemon, but it still can follow me this turn. And then Exeggutor at full HP in the back, so it's a little bit of a interesting spot. If you are Moonblast, which you are, then it makes it a lot better for you, though. I will say.
Yeah.
If only someone had convinced you to run Moonblast. Um, but yeah, the last respects, he just doesn't follow me.
Yeah,
He
I'm
just
surprised he didn't follow me there.
lets it go down, and that was a horrible play because he clicks follow me, Electivire goes down, Gardevoir is able to do a lot of damage, and he takes a
Or even Terra the
Moonblast.
Gardevoir. I think it lives.
Yeah,
So he even clicks Terra.
it's Terra Fire, so that it would be neutral. Yeah, probably. He also had Terra Fire Mystical Fire, which he was going for into Houndstone actually. So if he just clicked Follow Me, it would have been a great turn. He would have won the game actually on the spot with that turn.
Oh, oh yeah, with the Life Orb damage, yeah, that should kill.
Well, I mean, you're fluffy, right? And the
Yeah,
Mystical
yeah.
Fire is special, so it's not affected by that. And Terra Fire, Life Orb, Mystical Fire, Max Special Attack, Gardevoir into Houndstone, who's essentially weak to fire. That should
Yeah.
definitely kill. And if not, Trick Room, right? It runs up after this turn, so it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah. Even Protect on Gardevoir would have been fine here, I think.
yeah,
Let the
which he,
Trick Room
he
win
did
out.
have, by the way, so feels really unfortunate. Like a wasted opportunity. Just kind of let it go down to last respects there. Knockoff gets rid of that AV, which is nice. I forgot the AV. Maybe that makes you live, but the Protect knockoff would have been a great play. I mean, like that definitely guarantees him a win, right?
Yeah. At this point, nothing you can do.
But yeah, now it's just Exeggutor, who takes so much from a Moonblast, and the last respects is able to finish him off. And so, really unfortunate loss for Charcoal, considering how it felt like he had a real chance to win that game 2 at least. But yeah, I think that was pretty well played by you as well. You definitely made some mistakes or maybe like assumptions that didn't work out for you, but or left yourself open to some counterplay. But it worked out in your favor, and so it's like a win's a win. You can't even be too caught up in that,
Yeah.
and there's no reason to really dwell on not too much. So yeah, well played. Move on to TBL versus Cybon, and immediately in team preview, I was like, "What is TBL doing, bringing Ampharos into this team?" It feels like it's good into the Basculegion, but that's kind of it. And so,
I don't like the Ampharos at all into
no,
this team.
I don't either. The TBL's best like Pokemon that he could have gone for. I mean, like let's say you don't want to bring Politoed, makes sense, right? You could still go for Ludicolo without Politoed, and that's still probably better, just because it matches up well into Mamoswine and Rotom. I mean, you're a water type that isn't even weak to electric, right? Or in your grass type that's not even weak to fire, so that's kind of nice. Plus, you can hit him for super effective. Matches up well in the Basculegion. I mean, it doesn't match up well into Weezing, but Ampharos just feels so much worse overall because it doesn't match up well into anything besides the Basculegion, right? So
Yeah. Even the Basculegion, if there's enough last respect stacks, it just picks up the KO anyways. So it doesn't really matter.
Saban actually clarified that he can take max 99% from Specs Discharge on max special attack Ampharos.
Oh.
So even then, the one Pokemon it's supposed to be good into, it's not even good into because Cybon was really well prepared, and so that's that's really unfortunate for TBL. It feels like he's coming in at a big disadvantage into an already tough matchup. So there's something I wanted to point it out. Though Annihilate feels like it can be pretty good here potentially. And with this lead, immediately I'm thinking a few things. One, Prankster's gone, right? So if it's like a Scarf Slacking, it's the fastest thing on the field. It also could be a position where we see that it is Terra Dark on the Meowstic, so it's not able to Terra Ghost if he was planning to go for some more Boom Burst shenanigans like he went for prior week. And Slackings also has the Terra Ghost, so it could be even worse of a play. So just you're kind of pleading to TBL here. Don't click Boom Bursts. There's like Draco could do a lot into Slacking. There's kind of a lot of things that could work out well for him. And immediately goes for the fake out and no Terra on Slacking. As Tailwind comes
I
out,
don't like that turn.
D-Gleam. For who?
I don't like that turn from TVL. It's like he just lost a lot of health for Tailwind, but I don't think the Tailwind matters that much in the matchup.
Yeah, especially because Noivern and Miastic are already faster than the other two. It feels like more of a long-term play, but even then, it feels like maybe you could have set it up a turn later. Like maybe you get off some damage first and then you set it up.
Yeah.
Having the two fastest Pokemon in the field means that you really don't need to click Tailwind turn one. And actually, even if you save it a turn, then you can use it use it in a more valuable way, or use that last turn a little bit better. So I think that definitely was a mistake on T-Bell's part. You're right. Also, the Slacking just not clicking Terra is fine. It doesn't feel too threatened, especially because the Terra doesn't do anything into like a dragon type attack, like a Draco from Noivern. So I think that's a reasonable play. And the Draco does come out this almost 60%, and Thunderwave into Slacking. So really just overkill on the speed control. And it tells me that like you care about the speed a little too much because you're setting up Tailwind and Thunderwave. Thunderwave gives you that nice 25% chance of not being able to move. So you could just click that, and that's all the speed control you need on Slacking. Weezing's already slow enough, so he doesn't really need speed control. Though, it also kind of tells me you might want to send out something like Mudsdale or Ampharos in the back, and you need that insane level of speed control for them. So, like the level of Tailwind and Thunderwave, and that feels pretty bad. So
out of the four moves he could have gone for, he's only used one to deal any damage into the Slacking.
Which was the Draco. I mean, maybe he gets full parried here, right? But it is just a double edge and Noivern goes down. So feels pretty bad for TBL. The little bit of chip is nice, but
imagine if that turn was like a Super Fang into the Draco. That would have been a lot better.
Yeah, that would have been really nice, actually. Yeah, we would have just killed Slacking on the spot. But maybe it probably wasn't running. Actually, we can check, but yeah, it was running screens instead. So even
I don't know. I meant Super Fang on Noivern if it went for that turn one or something.
Oh, instead of the
subsequent turn of Draco. I don't know if he carries it, but I'm like, that's just one thought that's going to my mind. Like, it could have been something you prep for.
Yeah, I just think it's a little bit of a mistake to click Tailwind right away, for sure. And then the T-Wave after is kind of overkill. So it is a full pair on Slacking, on what is probably a Protect. And yeah, it actually has to be Protect because that was the only priority move it had.
I'll mention it after this match.
And then it was probably protecting because the Drain Punch which came out into it would have been a solid turn, but gets the 25% chance to be unlucky. And it gets burned, but yeah, reveals the Lumberry. So also probably it tells you one of two things. Either he was really prepared for the Will-O-Wisp, or that he's a Resto Chesto set, except using a Lumberry instead. So coming into turn 4, last turn of Tailwind, but Meowstic is able to set up that last layer of screens, which setting up the light screen is quite nice because you have two special attackers on the field in front of you, right? And two fairy types in front of Annihilate who can't Terra and who's weak to fairy is a big deal. So he clicks Bulk Up here, which is like, what are we doing? We have two special attackers. You're not helping your defensive side, so you're only dealing more damage. But even then, it's like you're not even dealing that much more damage.
I don't like the Bulk Up. I am looking at the EVs on this. This is not especially bulky at all. Maybe he's just counting on the light screen. But
yeah, it has 252 HP and then no other bulk. It actually only has 44 attacks. So maybe he thought that he needed a bulk up to.
I mean, I guess it's not really doing anything into these two anyways without any setup.
No Rage Fist stacks either. So I guess it does make sense. The only problem is there's one turn of Tailwind. If he had delayed that turn by one, Annihilate all of a sudden, even if he takes some damage, he's still the fastest thing on the field by far, right? That could matter.
Also, one more thing is, because he packed Lumberry, his last move is pretty weak now. He's packing Rest.
And yeah, he just can't comfortably click that. Unless he's running Vital Spirit like Spam Dolph.
He should have run Chesto Berry instead of the Lumberry is what I mean. If he's going to do this setup, he needs to heal up with... he doesn't want like some random other status to trigger it.
Yeah. And Rest cures that status already, so... It's kind of no point. But another Wisp comes out here, and then now Annihilate is just feeling like a really bad spot. And the Brick Break Clef just immediately gets rid of that 2 turns of setup Meowstic just spent. So Meowstic just wasted the last 2 turns pretty much. Feels bad. Especially because you could have been like Thunder Waving for a chance for them not to be able to move or doing anything else really.
Yeah, it looks like Saibon was really well prepared for Meowstic.
Yeah. And he's shutting it down very well. So as Tailwind runs out, and I clicks bulk up again, and so like you really need that second bulk up for the damage booster after that burn. But even then, it feels like a little bit of a opportunity for your opponent to come back and really punish you for that. So
I think on that turn you have to click Light Screen again, honestly, because he opens himself up from the double target from Weezing and Clefable.
And then bulk up is not even as bad of a play if you click Light Screen that turn, but not doing that feels pretty bad. Especially because we know the Weezing is faster than the Clef, so Clef Brick Break would go after the D-Gleam on Weezing, so even if he does predict the Light Screen, doesn't matter. So it does feel pretty bad switching to Mousehold here. The taunt comes out into it, which is actually good in and out of to Meowstic or Mousehold. So works out pretty well there. And then the Moonblast does so much of Annihilate's health. It's kind of crazy. And lowers his special attack, which tells us that it's inner focus, because he wouldn't be running Rest with Vital Spirit because he's not Spam Dolph.
No. Its ability is being suppressed.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. I was about to call him out for running inner focus on Annihilate, but yeah, you're right. Also means the Friend Guard didn't activate, so Annihilate took so much damage from that. Goes for Beat Up, trying to get the Rage Fist stacks, and clicks Rest.
Oh, I don't like this at all.
But now we already saw that he took 59 from the Clef, and Weezing's on the field with D-Gleam, so very vulnerable to that. And the crit Moonblast does not do him any favors. Immediately goes down, but I didn't have Sleep Talk. Even then, he would only have a chance to be able to do anything. So he was just on the field for 2 turns, just kind of sitting there.
He just got attacked.
And so it feels like a really bad spot.
Ooh. Rough.
And yeah, on this turn, Meowstic and Mousehold just kind of can't do anything. So Fake Out can come out, but the Rocky Helmet he takes so much damage. And this reveals... Wait. Why is the Mousehold...
Beat Up doesn't make contact.
Oh, it doesn't make contact. Got you. But it also reveals that Mousehold's only attacking move is Beat Up, right?
Well, no Pop Bomb at least.
Yeah.
If it did, it probably would have died against the Clef.
But it just means like this is just a doomed situation. Having one Pokemon whose only attack is Fake Out and the other Pokemon whose only attack is Beat Up, and bringing both of them, it's just really bad. And now it's just kind of delaying, like or just waiting until TBL loses. I think also that was he revealed Taunt there for no reason.
You don't want to reveal information for no reason, yeah.
Overall, just kind of not a great game by TBL. I think he could have played that a little bit better. Saibon, on the other hand, I feel like played pretty well all around. He was kind of given a lot of opportunities to succeed, but he didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, the only thing is like he got the full para, which is like he went for the right turn, which is Protect on Drain Punch. So he actually went for the right play, just got a little unlucky. Burning the Annihilate was really good to shut it down. He goes for that again. The Brick Break on Clef is really cool tech. which helps him. So I think actually Saibon did play this pretty well, and really punished TBL's mistakes, which would have still been bad, but he made them look even worse. So I will also note that TBL being a singles player still is not kind of figuring out the 5 EV thing, which is where in doubles you have to either put your EVs into 3 different stats or 5 different stats, not 4. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
in,
it gets wasted a bit.
yeah.
Well, okay,
you
there's a
waste 4
reason not
EVs.
to. Like if you can only use 4, and you can let the last 4 float. Like if you're a special attacker in Trick Room or something like that.
Yes, but you at that point you just kind of only run 4, or you only run 3 most of the time. You don't even bother with a 4th, right? You try and make do with the 3.
I mean, I can see it if you're trying to like. I'll use you can use like Hydrapple as an example. It's like you want to live some particular hits, but you don't want to necessarily go max, you know. And you still want your bulk
Yeah,
or
but
your
you
offense
can
as well.
invest that in a different way. I mean, theoretically, there's a reason which would make sense, but on something like Mousehold or Mudsdale, there's never a reason to waste 4 EVs like that, and it's a
Yeah.
little thing, but it's a consistent mistake. So just wanted to call him out on that. Also, I will say that Saibon has 0 a special attack investment on either Clefable or Wheezing and doing that much damage. I think it's just a testament to the fact that he's leaving a fighting type out in front of 2 fairy types, and just naturally they're doing that much damage. And then the fact that Mousehold has no bulk or special bulk really. He does have 52 SpDef and 252 HP, but that doesn't really make him especially bulky. So it means that that Saibon was able to kind of exploit those real weaknesses on TBL's team. And you can see the 4 months he brought are all really just weak to just Dazzling Gleam on no special attack Wheezing, and they'll take a lot of damage from that. So coming into game 2, that's definitely something he has to address. And immediately a Mudsdale Ampharos lead. So really weird or interesting lead here.
Very slow lead.
Yeah, very slow lead and no Trick Room, right? Because the only potential Trick Room setter is Meowstic, and he's not on the field, right?
Yeah,
so
its whole set's revealed as well, so he knows not Trick Room.
And so there's no Trick Room on 2 slow Pokemon is a little weird. Also feels like you want to click Disquake here. Which doesn't work unless you click Terra Flying on Ampharos, but that also feels like a wasted Terra, and you die to double edge either way, so probably not a great option. But that's what he opts for. So immediately just wastes the Terra and dies before he can move.
This game's over, I think, off that Terra being gone.
And Slaking, takes some nice chip, but still, Mudsdale gets burned, just Salt in the Wound, because, I mean, that's pitiful damage. Super effective doing 20, super effective and stab. Just doing 25 is rough. And then Fake Out into the Terra Ghost, then immediately losing Meowstic again. I mean, yeah, you can kill Slaking here. Oh, but he body presses into Slaking. Oh, no.
Retreat this. Oh.
And then Train Punches Slaking again.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that's rough. And then it just goes down to D-Gleam and Heavy Slam.
Slaking still lives.
Yeah, this just very means that. And he switches out, just saving the differential. TBL must have been tripping when he was playing this game because, this is a little unfortunate. And now it's Mudsdale versus the world, and this Clefable I think crit every Moonblast it went for. I mean,
yeah, this is a crit.
He maybe not one, but he crit this one. He the very first one he went for he didn't crit, and then he crit the next 2, one of which didn't even matter because it was 8%. And then he crit this one as well. So Clefable was just on Demon Time this week, especially with Brick Break. I think Saibon let him run a fighting type move, and it was like it really turned Clefable into a monster.
The monster with 0 offense.
Oh, he actually called it out. I didn't even realize that, but yeah, very very unfortunate set for TBL overall. Let's
I
move
think
on to.
Annihilate's harder to use in if it doesn't have access to Terra. I think
Yeah,
it
one
makes
hundred
him a lot
percent.
more of a sitting duck.
I think something like Annihilate or Archaludon or Saluna. These are all Pokemon that like they really like their Terra just because it means they can survive one super effective hit, which would otherwise like Oko them, and without it, they can just get Oko'd before they can move, or even not if not then they can still like get off one attack and then get Oko'd. So it feels a little bit harder to position them or use them as well, especially like something that's supposed to be super bulky like Annihilate. And Annihilate doesn't have a defensive ability like Archaludon Stamina, or doesn't have an ability like Archaludon Sturdy to survive at one hit. Um,
Yeah.
it doesn't even have a damage boosting ability like Ursaluna's Guts, or a really cool ability like Ursaluna Blood Moon's uh, Mind's Eye, or a speed boosting ability like Sneaker's Unburden.
It is a little bit dependent on like Defiant triggering in order to make it actually a huge threat, I think.
Yeah, or the Rage Fist axe, right? Which is why Mouseload is such a great
Yeah.
partner for it. But if you're not able to get it set up at all, it feels like harder to use. So, and really wasn't able to make it shine much in this matchup. So yeah. Now let's move on to Rick, who is a new addition to the draft league after a Turnham rage quit the Phalanx division essentially. But I think he made a lot of good additions to his team. Made it a semi like a pseudo rain team. And a pseudo size spam team. So really annoying for opponents to have to fight. We see that the Terraband Mon on this team is indeed a female, and Basque Legion is the other Terraband Mon, but was left behind this week. And the Toxicroak is actually just legit running Terrastellar. It's not Terraband. While the two Terraband Mons are obviously Archaludon and Pelipper.
Huh. I don't know if I like Terra Stellar on it, but
Probably to pick up a kill on the Scrafty or the Arch or the Comfey or the Beartic. So I mean, kind of makes sense, right? You probably
I
wouldn't
guess
have
he
gotten any of
doesn't.
those
There's
kills.
no
So.
obvious things for him to defensively, or he doesn't have obvious things he wants to defensively Terra into for
On as
the Toxicroak.
Toxicroak, because it's
Yeah.
already so frail that it feels like he's probably not clicking Terror too
I
much.
feel like water wouldn't have been so bad actually. I said
Yeah, but then you
ground,
open yourself
ground,
up to like
ground. I think ground would have been decent here
then you open yourself
on
up
the
to I mean,
Toxicroak.
the problem with Juvy's team is that you open yourself any Terror type you choose, you open yourself up to something. So.
Well, okay, the water isn't too. Sorry, ground isn't bad because you have the dry skin for the water moves.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so it's just kind of grass, but then you're still opening yourself up to Giga Drain, I guess. But
Yeah,
that's
but
still
like,
not that bad.
what are the odds that runs Giga Drain, right?
Uh, yeah, it probably doesn't. I get well into the Gastrodon. It probably does actually. Into the Gastrodon and the Basque Legion. It probably does run Giga Drain this week. Um, but
If it is packing Giga Drain, it's probably a much more offensive comfy, I would say.
yeah, I mean maybe it doesn't, but I think it's a realistic chance. But this feels like a pretty standard team on Juvy's front, whereas Rick obviously went for a much kind of more outlandish or out there team, especially with Fungus is just like a very annoying mon to have to deal with or to see on the other side of the field. Not just like knowing that it's on the team, but seeing it in team preview means like, oh shoot, you might actually bring this little demon. The Terra fighting Terra Blast option on Espeon is also obviously really nice. The size spam option is really nice into everything besides Archaludon, and I guess Scrafty, but there's also D-Gleam, so it's not even free
Oh, yes.
for that. So.
Saibon did write in chat. He can consider Giga Drain, but Psychic Terrain stops that.
Oh, that's true. The
I guess even more of a reason that where Terra Ground would have looked pretty good on Toxicroak, but
yeah, I feel
even
like
if he
kind of
doesn't
no way to hit
necessarily
it.
bring it.
Oh, I mean, Bear
I
Tick,
think
I guess, is the only way to hit it for super effective. But the problem is it's
yeah,
just
it
so
has to run
frail, it'll
ice.
just die to a 2-hit kill, no matter what. From like anything neutral. But still,
It immunes what Electroshock, Thunderbolt,
Yeah, weather ball. I mean, like there's a lot he's immune to. You're right.
Yeah.
It's probably just wants to pick up big kills, and we can see it's a pretty offensive team from Rick, save the Fungus and Gastron, I guess. But yeah, let's see how it pans out. It's immediately a Beartic and Pelipper lead, meaning the Terra Ghost is obviously available to deal with the CC, but you have the threat of CC and the threat of Thunderbolt, but also the threat of just collecting Tailwind. So there's a lot to consider if you're Juvie, and if you're Rick, because you don't want to CC into a Terra Ghost, right? And it is the fact that Terra Ghost, as the fake out comes out into the Pelipper, which is a really good play, breaks the sash, right?
To the Thunderbolt here.
And even if it's Covert Cloak, if you Thunderbolt, yeah, you just kill before I can move. So,
Earthquake.
Earthquake on the Beartic only hits the Toxic Croak, obviously, but it's still Oko's. So,
I think that's something that could have been EV'd around. But, yeah.
On the Toxic Croak?
Yeah.
I'm
assuming that's a life
really
orb.
Frail. Yeah, it's max attack life orb. Adamant.
Well, it's what 8365 is not the frailest thing in the world. We use more frail mods than that in this format.
That's fair. I guess I just imagine it as super frail, but it also was trying to run enough speed for it to be usable, and max attack to pick up some big kills. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to fit defense in there.
Yeah, if that's life orb, that's a roll. It's an 87% roll.
Oh, then yeah, he should probably should have put a little bit more. It's hard to say that.
I'm saying this could have been EV'd around.
Yeah. Also going to Terra if you were a Terra type other than Stellar, right? But here, Thunderbolt actually is still very free, and that's what it is. So Pelipper doesn't even get a move. Loses the sash that it actually does have. It's not revealed, but it does in fact have sash.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's another thing I just thought of.
Really unfortunate.
If he did have Terra Ground, you could pair it with the Discharge.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. He's not packing Discharge, but he could have. Yeah, very easily. At this point, You would have liked the Toxic Croak into the Arch, but the Terra fighting Espeon is always an option. So it just clicks Protect here. It's pretty reasonable, especially because the Shadow Claw comes out on Beartic. Wow. And then Tailwind comes out. Dragon Pulse does a lot of damage, but now you're in a situation where, despite being a Swift Swimmer as a Beartic, you're still not outspeeding just normal Espeon because of the Tailwind. So
yeah,
feels pretty good if you're Rick, especially because, spoiler alert, this is Stamina Arch, so he actually is threatened by an Oko, though you don't know that if you're Rick. And so it is immediately the Terra fighting. It's a Thunderbolt to break that, the stamina, or the sturdy, but real stamina, and then Terra Blast just Okos is the protect from Beartic, so Beartic just watches his leader die. Also, I like how they're
part of the Archalon Killer Club.
Just Juvie 1, Juvie 2, Juvie 3, Juvie 4, Juvie 5, Juvie 6. Real creative naming, Juvie. Yeah, this is why no one likes him being the one seed. Right?
I think he was like, "Oh right, I need a nickname," and then he just decided to name them all
the
right before the
laziest
match.
naming ever. Yeah, but really, really good turn for Rick, and now you're in just such a good position because you still have Tailwind up, right?
Yeah.
Only problem is you lose a lot of health. You probably actually can get Oko'd by a combination of Ice Shard and
Draining Kiss.
Draining, but even then, maybe Draining doesn't kill. Hard to say.
I think you'd have to be invested.
Yeah. It is a switch in Indeedee, though, to cover for that. As E-Force comes out, kills Beartic, and Comfey is able to hang on barely, revealing Citrus, and Deagling doesn't even do that much damage. Oh, but reveals the eject button in DD, which is weird and not I'm not a fan of. Though at this point with Tailwind up, it feels like just very over, and so Kilowatch was able to kill.
First person to take a match off Juvie.
And yeah, which something that something that, well, I already spoiled earlier in the stream, but Juby loses his first game of the season, and it's game 1. So, really looking up for Rick, especially because he won 3-0. It wasn't even like that close. I mean, still was, but not really that close. And so, felt very dominant by Rick. Though he forgot about a jacked button, as he calls it. Meaning, indeed, he's not as good as he kind of could be, but still, very, very impressive performance by Rick in game 1. So coming into game 2, Juby definitely has to adapt. And it is just a Kilowattrel Toxic Rogue lead again, and Arch Comfey lead immediately this time. So interesting to see what they're going to go for here. A fake out, just giving him a free stamina boost is a little weird. As Tailwind comes up, and the Bullet Seed also
side Bullet Seed
helps with that stamina, which I actually like that a lot. I think that's pretty funny. Did he hit 5 times?
Yeah, it's 5.
Wow, and with no loaded dice, by the way, because we already revealed Citrus Bear. He just got lucky.
Oh god, okay. Only way Toxic is gonna hurt Arch now is like a
crit.
Focus Blast?
Yeah, Focus Blast. Yeah. Oh god. And so he actually goes for Helping Hand, expecting a
Yeah.
Did definitely fake out the wrong mod. Into the not even looking at the Arch. Wow.
I mean, I don't think it does that much in the Arch anyway.
Yeah, but oh my god, he lives. And that's why Toxic Rogue's a demon. But Helping Hands again is able to actually pick up the kill on Comfey. It makes sense. You want to kill the Comfey before because he can just heal the Arch, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at this again. I'm like, I don't think he needed to set up the Tailwind in this situation yet.
I don't think so either, actually, because he was just faster. Feels like Toxic Rogue also kind of maybe missed out by just being able to click Helping Hand. If he had run a Poison move instead of Helping Hand, he could have just dealt with that Comfey much easier, potentially. Also, yeah, not faking out the Comfey instead really punished him. Instead of being neutral Arch at the end of the turn, no matter what he clicks, right? He's still neutral. Unless he's Power Herb, which he isn't, and clicks like Electro Shot. It's a neutral Arch at the end of the turn. Instead, it's a +6 Arch. And so now...
Yeah, Toxic Rogue would have taken like no damage off that body press then.
Yeah, it would have been a very, very different situation. But instead, body press is able to kill the resisted attack into Kilowattrel. And only 1 turn left of Tailwind. So, interesting to see if he will be able to live. A Helping Hand here, as Terrifying Terra Blast just rips into Arch and picks up the kill. Again. Only problem is Tailwind is coming up as your Tailwind is running out, so it's still a 3v2, but your Toxic Rogue doesn't have Fake Out pressure. Beartic has Swift Swim on top of Tailwind, which is the fastest thing on the field, and Pelly can do a lot of damage and really threatens your fighting type Espeon. So
I wonder if it was better to maybe try to. No, I don't. Does Toxic Rogue outspeed the Pelipper here? If it did, then maybe it was better to double up into the Pelipper that turn.
He used Helping Hand, so we don't see, but he probably does. Yeah, he's 196 speed investment, so he definitely does.
Yeah. So I think he could have just doubled in the Pelipper to deny Tailwind and just eat another body press,
or just fighting Terra Blast into Arch and then Thunder Punch the Pel. Yeah, well then you don't kill it, I guess.
Yeah, I think denying the Tailwind would have.
Well, at that point you lose.
Actually, no, because
if you lose Espeon,
then
you
didn't actually
need
the Tailwind actually. Yeah, actually, I guess it doesn't matter here because this Beartic's gonna outspeed everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like this, honestly, the Tailwind might have been unnecessary even
on Juvy's
on the Pelipper.
Oh yeah. Maybe. That allows the Pelipper to outspeed the Espeon, so I think it's still good.
I think a Hurricane into the Espeon would have been good.
Yeah, he's faster. He's faster now, so he's able to do that again. And so the EQ comes out, just a lot of damage. Also, immediately forces the Toxic Rogue back out, which is kind of crazy. And the Hurricane picks up the kill on Espeon. Yeah, this is why Tailwind I think actually was a good play.
Well, I mean, like last turn, you could just pick up the Espeon with a Hurricane, predicting a Terra Blast.
You might as well get speed control and before well, Arch still dies, so
yeah.
I think this
And I'm
actually
saying is
works.
he could have just picked up an Espeon, I guess, or he could have switched out into Beartic. I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. At this
Juvie
point, it
just hits
feels pretty
buttons.
lost for Rick, especially with the Terra Ghosts. Just he fake outs in psychic terrain, just making it even worse. But the Terra Ghost just really makes him double immune. So really unfortunate that Rick wasn't able to beat Juvie there. But there's always game 3, and so heading into game 3, Rick kind of knows what he has to do to win, but probably a little bit shaken after that game 2 and a little bit of a rocky win game 1. So we'll see how it plays out. And it is just a Kilowattrel and DD lead, but not Toxicroak this time. And a very different lead from Juvie of the Jolteon and the Scrafty. Though, notably, Scrafty can't fake out, and the its Intimidate does nothing into the 2 special attackers, right? It also reveals that it is Volt Absorb Kilowattrel, where competitive would have been really nice here. So, a
I
Volt
think it
Absorb
makes
makes
sense to
sense.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense, but it's really unfortunate. Just because the Kilowattrel would be just on demon time here, right?
Actually, yeah, no, because Kilowattrel was flying, it's not being protected by the terrain. Funny enough.
Oh yeah, so he gets faked out, which is really funny. And oh my god, indeed he takes so much damage. But the eject button,
The eject
so
button.
bad because D-Gleam could have just come out and killed Scrafty
Yeah,
probably.
Psychic Seed would have been so much nicer in this
I
situation.
I think eject button was terrible prep on his part. I don't know why he. I wish I could have I wasn't able to help him out with prep this week, but it would have been really nice to have been able to say just at least don't run eject button, right? I would not have let that slide. Don't worry. But yeah, it means that just a complete wasted turn for Rick, who loses all the momentum that he might have had turn 1, which was a lot to be fair.
If he had the Covert Cloak on the Kilowattrel, this still would have been okay, I think.
Yeah, but you expect yourself to be able to use Indeedee to be immune to it, so you don't feel like you need.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
grounded.
oversight because it's not protect.
Yeah.
It's protect everything but it, and that's the one thing that wants it most.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, and no Terra Ghost either. So yeah, very very rough. And Rick's now kind of on the back foot a little bit, at least. Thunderbolt comes out, does a lot of damage. Tailwind, and Diglin does pick up the Oko, so actually a little bit more of a reasonable position now. And as Pelly comes out, you still feel like you're in a solid position if you're Rick, because Pelipper will just die. If you click E-Force here, you probably kill both, and E-Force and Thunderbolt, right? You probably just kill both, I imagine.
Oh yeah, terrain is up. Yeah, you can just double. You can just.
Oh, but he's
attack.
switching to Gastrodon?
I don't like that.
I mean, it still's fine because you tank that attack, but now Pelipper can get up Tailwind for free. So, still a misplay. Beartic comes in. Thunderbolt comes out, but the Sash means that he's able to set up Tailwind before Gastrodon can move, and so... and missing is just salt in the wound, really. Because Beartic would have been slower than Kilowattrel, but... Yeah.
Beartic's base speed is so low, actually. The funny thing. The -1 speed does matter here.
Yeah, but I mean, once Tailwind runs up, I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite unfortunate. And then the Terra Ghost comes out 50% into the Gastrodon neutral, and the Shadow Ball kills Kilowattrel, but Gastrodon goes for Yawn. Okay, it's not a bad play actually, because potential chance for a comeback here. As Indeedee comes out, just gonna tank at a big attack as Jolteon can do a lot of damage into the Gastrodon, who's Icy Winding actually, where Yawn into Jolteon might have been better. It's hard to say. If Espeon had Protect, which he did, then that would have been a better play, just because you can Protect there, then Beartic's asleep, and you can stall the Tailwind a little easier. Yeah, I think that would have made more sense as a play. But Espeon comes out, and no... Oh, this is brutal, because the -1 speed Jolteon, you just gotta click Protect. And then hope that Beartic doesn't wake up the following turn, right? Hope that he doesn't get a 1-turn sleep. But he forgets about Tailwind being up and just lets Espeon die to Jolteon for no reason as Earth Power comes out here. Really and this is, I think maybe clicking the Yawn into Jolteon would have made it more obvious, the Protect play more obvious, but either way, you would have just won with Protect, really, because Tailwind runs out at -1 speed, you outspeed, and then you just win from there. But
yeah, you take out the Beartic, then take out the Jolteon.
And so it feels like just so many ways for Rick to win this, but finds unfortunately that last way to lose. And as I'm watching, I'm just like, damn, like everyone's just. I thought he just wasn't running Protect on Espeon. I think he actually hadn't revealed Protect on it the entire. Yeah. Oh no, he had it already revealed. Protect
No, he had it.
Yeah.
He forgot.
He just forgot to click it, and so. And the all caps I had Protect. Just really unfortunate.
He could have delivered the Juvie's first actual loss. He already took one game off him. He could have made it 2. Oh.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, giving Juvie's first loss would have been crazy, and it feels like he should have, but he just messed up in a few ways. And technically, it wasn't guaranteed because Beartic, but you still outspeed Beartic, so.
Yeah, because the rain ended too. The Tailwind's gone, so it's slower than. I think it might be slower.
And there's no priority moves you can use, so it feels like it's just kind of a guaranteed win. But yeah, it really
the only priority it gets is Aqua Jet, but Storm Drain.
Yeah, maybe it gets Ice Stride. Either way, it doesn't matter, because Psychic, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's move on to our final set for the week, because this is our final set because Dormasuda and Pilza didn't play. A lot of complications on both ends. So it was a forfeit for Dormasuda because Pilza was really trying to make the game work despite going through hell on Saturday, I believe, or Sunday. One of those days he was extremely busy trying to travel and still try to make it work. So I got to commend the effort, honestly. But yeah, unfortunately, they weren't able to play. So the last set of the week is Alberto versus Oedipus. And so let's get into it. We see that Oedipus is likely running the same or a very similar team to the one against me last week, which was different than the team he brought the first 5 weeks, which was exactly the same. So it remains to be seen if this is exactly the same as the prior week or not. And it is a Talonflame Ninetales lead. It's a really fast and aggressive lead on Alberto's part. And
it's a lot of water on the other side.
Yeah, the 2 water types really nice for Ninetales, but not so nice for Talonflame. So we'll see if he just rips.
It's not so nice if Ninetales packing freeze dry.
Yeah, and Ninetales probably wants to set AV first, but it's hard to say because that kill into Gyarados is really tempting. A Terra Ghost somewhat makes sense because you just want to live the turn with AV. Oh, but it crits anyways. Oh my god. Damn, that does so much damage. And then Dragon Tail comes out into Ninetales. I think Ninetales, there's no way it's switching out here, right? It's either AV or Freeze Drive.
I think said he's about to type there was a misclick, I think.
Wrong. Yeah, you're right. That's really unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. That could have been a Thunder Wave, I think.
Yeah, that's probably what he was going for. It wouldn't have changed too much, but maybe there's a full para, and that definitely changes things. So.
Yeah.
In this situation, Gyarados, because he already clicked Dragon Tail, you assume he's the same set as last week, which was extremely specially bulky, meaning he doesn't actually die to a Freeze Dry. So he feels comfortable not protecting it here. And Braver comes out into the Protect as Freeze Dry also goes out to Protect, and Ninetales gets paralyzed this turn anyway, so it doesn't change too much. Purina takes a good bit from that as the Freeze Dry goes into the Gyarados and not the Prim, even though Prim just protected, so he's an easy target. But Prim goes for Hyper Voice and picks up the kill, and yeah, Oedipus feels like he's in a pretty decent spot here. He has 4 versus the 2, only 1 turn left of Tailwind, 2 or 5 turns left of AV and Snow. So
I think this is a Protect turn from Prima. I don't know what I don't know. I don't remember if Gyarados packed Protect last set.
Yeah, I don't really know what Gyarados wants to go for. Probably Thunder Wave into Sneasler, right?
Oh yeah,
And it is Protect
protecting
on
Thunder
Prim,
Wave.
yeah. Fake Out comes into
Fake Out.
Gyarados, pretty good play. As Thunder Punch comes out, so wasted attack
It's
there.
actually really good to leave the Gyarados here. It's just like it's not doing anything.
Only problem is it just could letting it get the Thunder Wave is a little annoying for Sneasler. So
Yeah,
just
but
something to
I meant
consider.
on this turn because now you can Dire Claw the Prima and then Thunder Punch the Gyarados. I think because we see the
Depending,
speed. Golurk's outspeeding the Gyarados.
that's true.
Oh wait, no, because Tailwind's gone. No, it's
Oh no,
Tailwind.
yeah, it
That's
was
why.
terrible. Yeah, it was
But,
terrible. I was gonna say something about that, but yeah, Dark Lock does come out for the kill. You do get Paradise Sneasler, but it just depends on what Monty has in the back. So now it's a little bit of a weird spot. AV does run up, so it's not like Clay. As Rilla sets up the Grassy, but it is Grassy Seed Sneasler, so gets rid of that speed having, and is now the
I don't
fastest
know
thing in
if
the field again.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess he's expecting. He's reading a fake out plus something. I assume that's why he went for protect.
Yeah, probably a fake out, which is somewhat reasonable though. Golek feels pretty threatened
Yeah.
here, though it's a Dragon Dance
Dragon
actually. I
Dance.
feel like that's a mistake. But Polter comes out to Rilla, does so much damage, but lives, and so now
Backs at speed now.
it should if it's fast.
Yeah.
It's hard to say though. It Terra Fairies
Terra Fairy.
and stompings on the Caesar, but doesn't
Oh.
kill. And eats
Should have
that
doubled
Dire
up with
Claw
the.
for so much damage. Oh, the Grassy
Oh, it
Glide
lives.
would have. A Grassy
Grassy
Glide
Glide would have been so good.
would have killed the Caesar before it could move, but Bax loses so much health. Golurk
That defense boost
barely
mattered though.
lives. Yeah, it really does. That seed was nice. And then Polter comes out into Rilla, and Bax can't kill both here. Probably should go into the Golurk expecting a, or hoping for a full para,
Yeah,
but doesn't
yeah.
get it. So really unfortunate. Yeah, no full paras the whole time, but.
Maybe on the previous turn he needed. I think he needed to double into the Sneasler with the Grassy Glide.
I think that was
Think
for
that
sure
picks
the
up?
play, yeah. But otherwise,
Yeah.
actually, Oedipus played very well that game, I will say.
Other than the missed, the wrong move on turn one. Yeah, I
And,
agree.
and this Terra Fairy doesn't work out for him, but it's reasonable. Yeah, I would say turn
Yeah,
one.
because you're reading a fight close combat. It's pretty
Yeah.
reasonable.
And so Alberto just played really well there, or got the read right.
Terra Poison would have been actually really, really good.
But he was
Bax
using the
getting
same
that.
team from last week, and so that's kind of an example where having that Terra Poison
Yeah.
would have matched up really well, but he just didn't adjust his team. And
Yeah,
so
because then
big
the
disadvantage.
Sneasler can't touch you basically. The best he's got is like throat chop if
Yeah.
he brings it.
And so that's a little
Actually,
disappointing
aggro.
on his end. And actually, it did not have any move other than Dire Claw in close combat, so you're just praying for a Dire Claw sleep or something into the backs at that point. But yeah. So I think it was a really close game, actually. And if a little bit of luck had gone in Oedipus's favor, it would have been one full pair, and probably Alberto loses that game one. So, yeah. Game two, we'll see kind of how the players adjust, or if they do at all. And immediately, just a huge adjustment. No adjustment on Oedipus's part, but huge adjustment on Alberto's part as Tauros and Avalugg lead. And double Intimidate comes out.
Also, Tauros has revealed it. Oh, no, never mind. It is Intimidate.
Yeah. It's the Avalugg is probably sturdy, it's hard to say, but it feels pretty weak in front of those two water types.
Yeah.
Talonflame switching on the two water types, but it's Wide Guard. Thunderwave really booms him.
That is good for this.
Yeah, but Thunderwave, and so Braver comes out to so much damage. But Thunderwave comes out to Avalugg too, letting Hyper Voice move first and bring Avalugg down to sturdy. And wow, Oedipus is actually in a really good spot. Unless this kills, and it doesn't kill Prim. And so now Sneaser's coming out. Tauros is revealed, but a pretty strong mon nonetheless. And actually, Oedipus maybe he's not in that great of a position, but he can definitely get off at least one attack. So, it's the Custat Berry on Avalugg. Letting the Rock Slide go first. Doesn't kill. Does it flinch? It does not. And so the Thunder
everything's getting paralyzed. Oh, why are you going Rillaboom now? I don't like that.
From the Prim is a little weird, but
yeah.
It is a full pair on Avalok on both actually, as Dragon
Dragon
Tail
Tail.
switches out.
Oh,
Wastes
it works out because of the double pair. Because now he loses
the Grassy Seed.
Unburden as well.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this also reveals the no Metagross ring probably because
No Infernape Metagross combo.
yeah, which is unusual for Oedipus, but this actually does work out pretty well for him. The only problem is Rilla's at -1. Yeah, very smart by him. But Grassy Glade's able to pick up the Avalok, and Tauros only goes for Rock Slide, actually, so it does pretty much nothing. And now it's a 2v4. Caesar's paralyzed and doesn't have that Unburden. And even though Gyarados is low, you still have Rilla. Yeah, Prim's low, but you have a full HP mon in the back that we have no idea what that is, right? So
it's probably Baxcalibur, if I'm gonna guess.
Probably, yeah. But the Rock Slide kills the Gyarados, and Rilla U-turned. Interesting. Probably into Prim, just letting it go down, maybe.
Okay, sure.
Resetting the Intimidate. Not a bad play, I guess. And it is Bax, so Protect on Caesar actually makes a lot of sense, but the Fake Out comes out into Tauros' D-Dance happens? Yeah, it is D-Dance.
He always likes to dance as dragon.
And now Bax is in a weird spot where its best move is probably stomping into Sneasler because it should kill at this point because he's +1. When he went for before, it didn't kill because he was +1 defense, but now he's not +1 defense, so it should always kill.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't Terra here.
And he doesn't Terra and just eats the CC. And I think what he said in chat was, or what he said after the game was that he wasn't confident that stomping killed, and that was because he was probably misremembering the +1. Yeah, and forgetting that he didn't have it in this case. And so Terra would have actually been by far the best play, would have won him the game.
Oh, yeah.
But really unfortunate. And then Rilla, he only has knockoff, Grassy Glide, U-turn, and Fake Out here. And so knockoff, now that Grassy Terrain's gone, I mean, Grassy's not doing that.
I think he had the Grassy Glide that last turn, maybe.
Oh, and the close combat kills. I think. Did we talk about if this was the a roll to kill or not?
Yes, this was a roll to kill, assuming it's max HP.
But it's not max HP. Sorry, it's no investment on Rilla. So.
He already knows it's not max HP because of the damage calcs from the Rock Slide. So
it actually was a guaranteed. But Grassy Glide would have been nice there because.
I think on the turn you click knockoff, you should have clicked Grassy Glide.
The only problem is that maybe you proc the Lychee Berry, right? Potentially, but I don't think you do. Like here, you would have just killed from 50 or less. So yeah.
I'm not sure. It might have made the difference there, but I'm like, that's your last turn of Grassy turn.
Yeah, it's still more valuable. But yeah, barely lost by Oedipus there. So it feels like there's just like so many things that he could have done which would have got him there, and honestly you can't feel too bad for Oedipus about that game. That was definitely the best game of the season, right? Because you made it very, very close and felt like it was winnable in both games up until the very end, both games. So yeah, and just a few, like one play different on both games and it would have gone the exact same except Oedipus wins.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like one small micro decision changes the outcome.
Yeah, that was it was a kind of crazy set. Just because of like.
Actually, I guess Gyarados had so much value in this third set, just paralyzing everything.
Which you wouldn't expect from a Helping Hand Protect Dragon Tail Thunderwave set to be that helpful, but I mean he was. So. But yeah, at this point, it's time to talk Fields of Punishment in Elysium. I didn't forget it this week. Unlike last week where I pretty much did, but I don't think I deserved either. I ended up winning the set, but I had, especially game one, I just played really poorly. Especially at those 3 turns, so definitely gonna eliminate myself. I think Nick played really well. I'm definitely an Elysium contender.
Sorry. I was gonna say Nick's probably my number 1 choice. Let's see. No, go. What else?
And Saline is like maybe an option for Fields of Punishment. Charcoal, he kept it pretty close. Though I do think there are several things that there were decisions he made that really did not work out in his favor. So, especially some in prep, and so I think that kind of bit him. So maybe a Fields contender, and I think the game didn't feel confident enough on your part. I think there were like a lot of moments where if he had played or prepped a little bit differently, he would have threatened you a lot more, and so I wouldn't really say it's Elysium for that reason. Then TBL is definitely a Fields contender. Cybone's actually definitely a Elysium contender.
I think it feels bad to nominate Table, considering what? It's his first match, right? Or is it second match?
What do you mean?
Is this Table's first match of the season?
He's been here all season.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking of Rick.
Yeah, it's all good. They both have like semi-range.
In that case, then I think I'm okay nominating him here.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty unfortunate set. I think Cybon is also a potential candidate for Elysium with how he played and how he prepped. Honestly, I think he had some pretty cool stuff. I think Rick would have had a hell of a chance for Elysium if he had just kind of played that a little bit better, but really did not.
Yeah.
And honestly, like almost feels worthy just because of like that one cell, but you can't even feel like I don't think Fields for like one thing is when you do everything else well is a reasonable thing to do, especially when you make it such a close game. I think that's just kind of that's where it's Fields in a way that I don't like, which is just kind of kicking someone while they're down. He knew what the correct play was and just made the wrong play in the moment, but forgot about one simple thing. So I think that that's not exactly what I like to do for Fields. And in this final set, I think Alberto and Oedipus kept it very close.
This was they're just slapping each other back and forth.
I think if Oedipus had made a few better plays, it might have been honestly a Fields for Alberto, just because he kind of let it felt like he let himself kind of get exploited several times, but he made a few really good plays that kind of won it back for him. And I mean, Oedipus made like a few critical mistakes, so I think it kind of made his game look a little bit better, maybe. But I think when all said and done, I think we have a fairly clear kind of Fields winner on TBL's part. I think Charcoal is like maybe an option, but I think TBL for several reasons would probably be the Fields winner this week, or loser I guess this week. I think just clicking Tailwind to turn too early when you're not really doing too much, you waste your fake out pressure, right? For pretty much nothing. You lose Noivern again for pretty much nothing, just for one trick and one slacking. The only reason you kill slacking actually is because he gets the full para, which is unfortunate. You set up the dual screens into the brick break. You go for bulk up twice in front of two fairy types and just let it go down. I just think overall he kind of played Annihilate poorly, managed his screens and Tailwind poorly, like his support moves poorly. Also managed to support Mons poorly just because he had two dedicated support Mons, which he brought to game one. And like at this point, once it was the two of them, they just kind of couldn't do anything. Yeah, and like they lasted like 3 or 4 turns together where they just couldn't do anything at all. With one attacking move between the two of them, essentially, because Fake Out isn't an attacking turn after one turn. And then game 2 went completely try to switch it up, but with a strategy that was kind of doomed to fail, just because in this situation
you just live that hit.
Like
I think is a big deal.
Yeah, and having no speed control in front of slacking, it just feels pretty bad. So, and it feels like too obvious of a strategy going for Disquake. It's not like disrespectful, I guess, but it just feels like Cybon's going to be able to counter that, right? Just like with slacking and wheezing on the field, you're not just going to let Disquake kill your Pokemon, and it wouldn't even kill slacking probably. They're hard to say, and so yeah.
I guess trying to live the double edge is pretty rough. You have to put a lot of investment to living.
Yeah, I mean, you could tear a ghost, right? Just to make it a threat at least, or a chance to not. You could also just like not lead these two, right? Like you'd have these two and go for a disc strategy at some point, but just not lead it. Um, so I think he just kind of went. He thought he had it felt like he kind of maybe got arrogant a little, just like with like the setup on Annihilate, assuming it would live, and with the Disquake, assuming like this just kind of very straightforward strategy would work out, against an undefeated opponent. So I think that was like
Actually, it's kind of
underestimating his opponent.
tough.
Yeah.
Because if Weezing's clicking Dazzling Gleam here, it's like even if you EV Ampharos to live an Adamant Double Edge Life Orb from slacking, you can only go down to the Dazzling Gleam after.
Well, yeah, and that's the what I'm saying. He went about it the wrong way. Instead of just like trying to fix Ampharos or make him work, just don't force him here and like don't lead him even if you are gonna bring him. So I think yeah, I'm gonna give TBL Fields for that reason.
Yeah, I agree.
And then talking about Elysium, I think Simon's honestly a very valid contender for Elysium. I like the Brick Break Bring on Clefable a lot. He didn't actually send out Bastion Legion once this entire game, and that's his best Pokemon, undoubtedly, right? Rotom Heat was also a mon that's been putting in a lot of work. Mammoth Wild been putting in a lot of work. None of these mons saw the light of day, I believe, right?
It was just those two plus the Clefable.
Yeah, just those three Pokemon was enough to win it, and the Will-O-Wisp both times just makes. I just went for very consistent plays overall. I think that's kind of would earn my vote for that reason. I think
You didn't really give him any room to do anything.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the strategy I went for last week into Oedipus, except he executed it much better, right? Like mine was just kind of more of an annoying strategy to not let him do anything. Here was just kind of like just a solid play all around. I think a Rick really would have had a chance for it if he had
Yeah,
had
if you won
won,
that.
just because not only was Juvie undefeated, but also just he played pretty well for the most part. It's just he, especially with like some of those reads, worked out really well in his favor, but was unfortunate. I think Juvie also kind of would have been a contender if he hadn't gotten outplayed on like a few like really important turns. He also played. It was just a really well played and really awesome set overall.
What he really needed to do was tear his Scrafty so it doesn't die to the Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, that was where was it? Here, yeah, he just died instantly. That was rough. But yeah, there were a few like moments where you just kind of let like Arch go down twice and stuff like that.
I assume Arch was AV or something like that in this set.
He was actually. Also, yeah. See you, Soup. Thanks for tuning in. It was AV. I think this was like a almost one. I don't think if Oedipus had won, again maybe, but I think at this point it's like it really comes down to Nick and Saibon.
Nick or Saibon, yeah.
I think looking at it, Nick lost kind of a lot of momentum at a few different points, and it was mainly due to just kind of like a mismanaged or a mistimed protect on Mence, because the Sylveon actually was carrying protect, and so if you just protected on that slot and not on Mence, that turn looks very different because Mence is able to either go for like a breaking swipe or just like kill the Indeedee or like, I don't know. There were a lot
Let's
of.
see. Did he already burn Terra at this point?
No.
Okay, I think he was afraid of like what the rock slide. What's it called? Expanding force, maybe.
Yeah. No, he doesn't get expanding force actually on DD, but Rockside D-Gleam, I think. I don't know.
D-Gleam,
That really
Psychic,
kills
Psyshock.
Mence, but yeah, I think Saline made a few plays that kind of helps. Like I think anytime there's like a kind of a sweep like this, it's less of a 4-turn win than a I guess a 6-turn win, but it could have been like a 5-turn win maybe. That feels less like Elysium than like consistent good. I think that's something Spam talks about a lot. I think just a sweep is less Elysium worthy, even though it's better on paper to win like 6-0 in singles or win 4-0 and then 4-0 again.
Saibon lost 1 mon in 2 matches, right?
Did he actually? Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
And
only
so
lost to Slacking in game one.
they
So
had similar results of losing one Pokemon, and then I guess it was a technically two Pokemon. So Nick had lost two more Pokemon, but that's not the reason Saibon won. It's not because he lost two less Pokemon. Even if Nick had won 8-0, it still was kind of like a sweep and exploiting a few bad turns on Saleen's part. Where Saibon, though TBL did have some bad strategy and did earn Fields of Punishment this week, Saibon definitely earned Elysium. I think he played great.
honestly, I think for me, they're both neck and neck. They're pretty much even for me.
Well, that's fine because I'm going to give the nod to Saibon. So,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, with the way we do Elysium now, there's not really the guest vote. I'm sorry. I would.
Yeah.
But I think. I think if Saline had played that a little bit differently, maybe he would have made it a much closer game. But
Nick had really good turn ones, though. I would
He did.
say what.
no, I think he played pretty well. But
Yeah.
I think Saibon, like the prep and the play was just so just good all around that despite a Fields for TBL, and this was something that I really in previous seasons tried not to do, of like giving Fields and Elysium to like the teams playing
Same
each other.
match. Yeah.
But I think I've done that before this season. I think again it's kind of clear this week of like Saibon clearly played the best and TBL played the worst, and that's why it felt so one sided. And so I actually will give props to Saibon for this. So, let's move on to look at the standings. You can see that we have. I know the stream also went a long time. That's on me. I've been making the streams go really long lately. So, we can see that Juvie and Saibon are the two undefeated teams.
One differential separates them.
Exactly. There was one differential, which really means that it's anyone's game for who takes the 1 seed, especially because Juvie did drop a game, so he doesn't even have that differential. At that point, even if they both win 2-0, it comes down to Mon differential. Juvie has that slight lead, but that's likely. Oh, it's hard to save that all determinate because Saibon plays Nick and Juvie plays Pilsa. So if they both 8-0,
Okay,
Juvie wins, but it's unlikely that happens. So yeah, it's going to be a battle to the very end for the 1 seed. Whereas if I win this week, I've easily locked up the 3 seed, though, and I can't obviously get higher than the 3 seed because of these guys. But
I think your 3 seed's kind of locked, right?
I think I have not played Pilsa.
As long as you win one game.
If I win one game, it's guaranteed. Actually, because Saline lost, I think it might be guaranteed just because I had lost to Saline earlier in the season. I also beat Nick, so I have that differential against him. So it would come down to Mon differential.
Your match differential. It's +5, right? So
yeah, if you win 2-0 and I lose 0-2, then it's actually realistic that you passed me. Other than that, I should.
Most situations.
But even then, I'm dragged down to
if you take 1 set, if you take one match,
1 game,
then you're locked in 3rd slot.
Yeah, I think I think we have a pretty interesting spot for the top. But even then, this is like the most interesting thing in the world to me. Just seeing like how close this race is. I mean, it was a lot closer last week and 2 weeks ago, but still, this is super close, and that means 2 of these teams that feel like they should make playoffs aren't going to make playoffs. So that's a little crazy. I think any one of these teams could easily make playoffs and would be good in playoffs, but hard to say who that will be. And a few of them are playing each other. So you are playing Saline. If you lose, you're still probably in playoffs.
Depends on the other matches, I think.
It depends, yeah. But if Saline loses, he's definitely out of playoffs. Same with Dora Masuda. Not same with Dora Masuda with me. If Dora Masuda wins, he still maybe has a chance, but it's very, very unlikely. He needs a lot.
He needs everyone
go
else
in his
above
favor.
him to lose.
Yeah. Alberto, to make playoffs, he either needs to beat Soup, who's actually is pretty convenient because they're
So
playing
it's a
each
head to
other.
head there.
But he can still make playoffs if I beat Dora Masuda, if Charcoal beats Rick, and if you beat
Saline.
Saline. Yeah, actually he can make playoffs. Still technically, even if he loses. So that's kind of funny. And then Nick plays Cybon, which means that if he wins, he actually kind of catapults himself up towards the top. Pills is playing Juvie as well, so these two guys are playing the top two seeds, which is kind of funny. It means they might actually move down slightly in the rankings, but basically you are probably in the best position to get the 4 seed.
Yeah.
Out of anyone, because out of the 3, 4, and 3 teams, you're the only one not playing an undefeated team. So
2 of my losses are technically to the undefeated teams. Funny enough.
But you also, what's a little unfortunate for you is that the reason you are it might look weird of like you're at plus 10 mon differential, Nick's at -4, and Pills is at -1. How is this fair? It's because of head to head.
Matches played.
Oh, okay. It's head to head actually. Because Pilsa week 3, back when it was S&B, beat Nick. And week 1, back when it was S&B instead of Nick, and when it was Voids instead of you, S&B beat Voids. And so therefore, this ranking actually does make sense, but it just looks weird. And it kind of screws you guys because you two were just subbing in, right? Neither of you actually lost those games. So feels bad, but you could still easily make playoffs, but especially if you win at all, because it's very unlikely for either of these guys to win. Though if one of them wins, then they definitely have a chance to be in that top 4. And again, the advantage of that top 4 is for to be able to choose your opponent, because the top 4 get to choose their opponent in descending order from the bottom 4 playoff teams, right?
Well, so the advantage for 4th is to not be picked by 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly. So even if you're 4th, you don't get a pick. You're stuck with whoever's left, which might actually give you a tough matchup, right? Realistically, it probably will give you a tough matchup, but you don't have to play any of the top teams, which theoretically is better than being one of those bottom teams. And if you're the difference between Pilsa and Nick is Nick could have to play Juvie week 1, whereas Pilsa has to play like Wah, and Wah's like obviously terrible, so like it's a very easy matchup. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so I think this fight for playoffs is still pretty close for who gets the top spots. Literally the top spot. Oh, I just killed Cybon, or killed Juvie. My bad. But yeah, it's very, very close playoff race. And I'm curious to see if either of these guys end up getting a loss, or if any of them drop another game even, or which one ends up on top.
Crazy. They've each only dropped 1 match.
That is really insane. And so we were actually just about to go to the MVP race, so thanks for reminding us. But let's take a look here. And Arcalodon still is at the top, though he now has 3 deaths, actually. Also means that he is literally impossible for him to catch the MVP record that Arcalodon had season 1, which was 33-8. He's going to have a higher differential than that, probably. The differential was, I guess, 21. So it's potential for... There's a... Oh my god, I hear some thumping.
You would have to... What? No, that doesn't... Yeah, there's no way to beat 33 kills.
I guess there's a 25 differential, right? And so he probably won't even break that differential record. But it's still impressive nonetheless to see him with so many kills and so few deaths. Look at Samra, only been brought 5 weeks. One of those weeks, he died once, and that was all he did because I just didn't use him after that. And he's still number 4 on that leaderboard and right next to Porygon. I mean, this is just awesome, right? Insane levels of aura farming.
Porygon with 19 kills. It's crazy.
Dude, Porygon's a demon. Also, this is kind of funny with the Hydrapple and Porygon having 6 and 7. And then right below it, actually 6 and 7 again. But all right, I'm brain rotted. But Charcoal having 2 top 10 and being like eliminated from playoffs is kind of crazy. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. But
Actually, that's actually interesting. Look, I'm looking at Annihilate's stats. He's not really getting his values worth in my mind. Like, he has 13 kills, but he has 12 deaths.
yeah, and that's because he clicked final game it a few times, but also he really is not. He's like a center of table's offense, but he's also dying a lot, so he's not. That is kind of shows how table has not been able to convert a lot of wins. Kind of just because even though he's putting in work, he's losing Annihilate, but then he loses a lot of his offense. And Polyto's only so high because of Parasong, right? Alberto also with Sneasler is kind of you might expect a little bit more value from that S tier as well, but he has a 0 differential actually. So
yeah, it's interesting because normally it's like if you draft Sneasler, you also want like the Rillaboom or something similar.
Yeah, you want something to kind of pair with it, but he doesn't really have that. So that is a little interesting, especially for the Unburdened proc, but yeah. And then Pilza also having King Gambit top 5 is really cool. Cybon having 2 top 11 is really cool. Rick having Kilowattrel up here is hilarious, I will say.
9 and 9.
Soup brought Halucha for 3 weeks, and he's number 16 on the leaderboard. That's really impressive. Yeah, I think... especially because every other Pokemon up here pretty much is has brought either 5 through 7 weeks, right?
Lucha 9. What was it? 9 and 5 in 3 games, pretty good.
And this Cybon's Wheezing going 10 and 1 is crazy.
Yeah, we just won't die.
Yeah, it's a really a tight playoff race and a really tight MVP race. We see Porygon, Hydrapple, and Archaludon all very solid options for MVP. I mean, Juvie might just stat pat his way to victory with Archaludon, but Soup against Alberto, maybe Hydrapple is a tough bring. I mean, because Alberto has a very very poignant snow mode, right? So the Hydrapple is really forced to Terra in front of like Sneasler. He can't Terra Steel very easily, right? So it feels like he's a little bit of a hard situation. And Porygon against Jorah Masuda's team is like, well, he matches up well sometimes, but if he Terra Ghost, he's in a worse position in front of like the Dark type Incineroar and the Ghost type that is Dragapult. And so I have to kind of think about maybe another Terra type for him too. And so all 3 of these Pokemon might have a few limitations in these final weeks, but all obviously vying for the MVP as well. So, and I would love to get the MVP this season because I didn't get it last season. But I think making playoffs and putting yourself in a good playoff position matters more, I think, for me and for Juvie, right? Juvie wants to be number 1, and Soup wants to win his game, of course. So. To make playoffs in the first place. So I think, yeah, this is a really, really close playoff race, close playoffs, MVP race and playoff race. Really close sets, especially the Juvie Rick one. And week 8 is going to be insane as well. This was the longest stream I've ever done. This is almost 2.5 hours, but that's on me. I think as the season's wrapping up, I'm just yapping more and more, but hopefully we'll keep it a little shorter next week. And yeah, we will have week 8, and then there will be a 1 week break before playoffs, and then we'll have playoffs, and so it actually will be a while until the next stream because we do or after the week 8 one, because it's week 8, then we have a week off, then all the playoffs besides finals are in a stream together. And then there's the finals that are streamed. So
interesting. All right.
So with that being said, do you have any final words, Wall?
Good luck to everyone. Happy playoffs.
Hopefully, those of you who are are fighting for playoffs can get that spot, and hopefully I don't have to fight some of you guys or most of you guys in playoffs because so many tough teams this season. It's crazy. All right.
Yeah, I said that about Hoplite as well, but like it feels like the level,
Oh yeah, it's
the
insane.
overall level feels way higher
I mean,
from
just
season to
just
season.
looking at these teams, you can just point to every single one of them being a threat. Like Juvie and Saibon, undefeated teams. I have two top four Pokemon in the kill leaderboard. Pilza, really scary Trick Room, and a top five Mon. Nick, and super scary Sunroom. You're like a bunch of Pokemon that are just all really good, and you've been 4-1 since you took over. Nick's been 3-0 since he took over. Soup, making every game really close and finding a way to come back all the time. I mean, just you can go down the list. Every single team is just scary. Even like you saw Oedipus have a super close game this week. Table, even though he got Fields of Punishment, has a really scary team on paper. I mean, like all of these teams are scary this season, and it's kind of crazy to see. Yeah, but with that, we will head out finally. I know, really long stream, but thank you guys for tuning in, and good luck throughout the end of the season. Peace.
Peace.